Well, while we wait, because who knows when the president is going to show up, while we wait, let's listen to the historian.
Is going to happen there. But I will get to that. Let me get down. So just
I will switch it back as soon as the president comes. Who knows?
so you know, the weather here is truly awful. We have freezing rain and sleet, and I live up an extremely steep hill. So I'm not going to run over today. I don't expect. I should get back on the road to get home. Anyway, you had a lot of questions today, and I'm going to start with the obvious one. You had a lot of questions about what's going on with this so-called double tap strike on the small boat out of Venezuela, or apparently off the coast of Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela on September 2nd. Let's go back just a step, and let me remind you that all of the strikes, I believe there are 19 of them now, with as many as 76 people dead, have been conducted by the Trump administration under conditions that most legal observers say are not legal. So what that means is that normally the way that the United States handles the stop drugs coming into the United States, although it's a little doubtful whether these were actually aimed at the United States because the small boats could not carry enough fuel to get to the United States. But the way normally those trafficking boats are stopped is that the Coast Guard and similar authorities usually shoot the motors, which is, I'm laughing a little bit because if you've grown up around those kind of motors, you know they're actually pretty delicate. And you shoot the motors don't go anymore. You board the boats and you take the people on them to the authorities in their countries. And that's always been the way that America has handled the stopping of the kind of drug traffickers that these allegedly are. But the Trump administration has decided instead simply to blow up those boats with the argument that the people on them are what they call narco terrorists. And there's a bunch of things about that that are funny before I get into the legality. The first of those is that one of the things you hear White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt do a lot is talk about the flooding of the United States with drugs, and then she transitions immediately into fentanyl and the huge numbers of deaths that the United States has had from fentanyl. But what is being trafficked from Venezuela is not fentanyl, it's largely cocaine. Fentanyl comes in a different way. So there's already a sleight of hand there. There's also the fact that the president has pardoned a number of major drug dealers, including one just yesterday, I think it was published today, who imported huge amounts of cocaine to the United States. But then there is also the legal issue, and the legal issue is that nobody has seen any evidence that these people are in fact drug traffickers. This is just the administration say so. And there is a real legal issue with just declaring a number of cartels to be at war with the United States. And, you know, you can see this playing out in a number of ways with the fact that the administration said it does not have to go to Congress for a declaration of war or for the continuation of its continuing strikes under the War Powers Act of 1973. But a lot of Congress people are like, hang on just a minute here. You're engaged, you're killing people, and you're doing it without any input from the United States Congress. So that was already a problem. Okay, so that was already an issue, and an issue that a lot of people think was illegal. However, there's something else that went on with this so-called double tap of September 2nd. And that is that after the initial strike appeared to leave, of the 11 people who were on the ship, it's not a ship really, it's a boat. Just so you know, you can put boats on ships, but not ships on boats. That's how you remember which is which. Boats are little, ships are big. And these are little boats. There were 11 people on that boat, and the first strike apparently left 2 men alive clinging to the wreckage. So then there was a second strike that killed those 2 people. And then as of this afternoon, just before I came over here, news that there were 2 additional strikes to remove the wreckage, to destroy the wreckage to leave no trace of what had happened. And the issue with that is a huge one, because even by the standards that the administration itself has laid out, this idea that they can, declare themselves judge and jury and executioner for these people on these boats. You can't kill people who are first, and those are civilians, by the way, but you cannot kill people who are outside, who are no longer engaged in any way. That is, it's called being outside of combat. That is a war crime. And that is illegal. And it is, as Angus King, an independent of Maine, said yesterday, it is also murder. So the real question is, who gave the order? And I'm going to come back to that in just a second, but I would like to point out the story of war crimes and the story of the laws of war is a long one, and it's a really interesting one, and it's worth spending some time on. One of these days, I'm actually going to write a letter about it, because it's a weird thought, right? That during war, you're going to have rules. I mean, that seems like it's kind of crazy, but in fact, we get rules about war in the middle of the 19th century that begin actually here in the United States and in a few other countries, in part because of the dramatic change of what war means in the middle of the 19th century when you get the concept of artillery and rifled bullets. Because what that does is it opens up the concept of total war, and that involves a lot of non-combatants. So beginning with that concept, you start to get governments saying, what do we do? Like, can we kill everybody? Can we not kill everybody? Because they're concerned partly about morality, but they're also concerned about rebuilding.
She's one of the foremost history experts of the Republican Party and the United States. So, Steve, for you, shut your ass up. She know more than most people on this freaking planet. And she probably forgot more than most people on this freaking planet.
Like, what does it mean to be at war with the population? And so out of things like the American Civil War and out of other wars as well, you start to see the rise of codes that say you can kill somebody during wartime, but you can't rape somebody during wartime. You can kill a soldier, but you can't kill somebody who surrenders. And so they come up with these ideas that have rules around them. And that's a really important concept because, first of all, it makes it possible for societies to reconcile after a war, but also because it protects non-combatants. So it's designed to protect non-combatants. So for the United States,
she doesn't even have internet or anything in her house. She has to go down to the country town. I guess she travels from some place that she lives, her and her husband, and she comes down into the town square and she uses the internet inside the town. She doesn't even have internet. She's that far away, but she's the expert at Republican Party politics and history. So shut your ass up, Steve.
States to go outside of those and do what certainly looks to observers like a war crime is a really big deal. Now let me go back again to somebody like Pete Hegseth and what he stands for and what he has done. Hegseth, if you recall, was briefly in the military himself and really made his career as somebody talking about getting rid of the woke military, and you got to stop tying our hands, and you've got to be able to, attack the enemy without your hands being tied. And he really kind of embodied this whole cowboy masculinity, the idea that rules were for somebody else. He wrote a book about it, and if you remember during his confirmation hearings, again, Angus King of Maine is why he's on my mind. I watched a lot of Angus King yesterday. Angus King of Maine, who sits on both the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee, and is, clearly a very, very thoughtful senator, really pressed him again and again and again on his apparent disregard for the Geneva Conventions. And the Geneva Conventions are a series of those rules to protect non-combatants. And Hegseth refused to say he would support the Geneva Conventions. He's this guy who's, he's going to be out there killing people. So what happened is that last Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, a couple of Washington Post reporters, Ellen Nakashima and Alex Horton, reported that for the September 2nd strike, Hegseth had told the commander-in-chief of the special operations, a guy named Admiral Mitch Bradley, to leave no one alive, to kill everybody. And that he, in fact, because of that directive, had had ordered this second strike. And that second strike, which is called a double tap, is a no-go, right? Okay, so this comes out, and then you know what happened from then on. You started to see at first the administration said this was entirely legal, and then they started to back away from it. And then last night, Pete Hegseth posted an AI-generated children's book cover from Franklin the Turtle, with Franklin killing people in small boats. It was really, really horrific. And all of that led us to today. And what happened, and last night as well, because today's Tuesday, I guess, yesterday, Carolyn Leavitt, White House press secretary, said that, in fact, while there had been a second strike, that it was not Pete Hegseth who had given the order. Pretty clearly setting up Admiral Bradley to take the fall for this. And last night, that's what Pete Hegseth did. He said, I support this wonderful admiral for everything he has ordered, including the September 2nd strikes and everything from then on. So what he is doing is he's throwing Admiral Bradley absolutely under the bus. All right, so that brings us to today. And a lot of you have asked what's going to happen with that. And I'm going to urge you to take a really big picture look here, because senators, including the heads of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the House Armed Services Committee, both Republicans, are like, we're looking into this because this is not okay. They were already pissed off about the operations in Venezuela, or off the coast of Venezuela, in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific. So they were already mad. And they do not want there to be war crimes committed on their watch, partly because this is badly going to hurt American foreign policy, but also partly because we got people all over the world. If we're engaging in war crimes, other people can do the same thing. I mean, this is military 101 stuff. So the senators and the House Republicans, not all of them, but a lot of them, have said this is not okay. This is not okay. And under normal circumstances, somebody's head would roll over this. All right, so hold that thought, okay? Now let's go to what happened today. Today, let's go back to the middle of the night, actually. In the middle of the night last night, Trump began posting on Truth Social, and he did it with an almost manic quality. He posted more than 100 times. I think it was more than 200 times. I don't remember that off the top of my head, but he just was madly posting and posting and posting and posting and posting. And in a way that people, even at the time, were like, look at this, look what's happening. This is bonkers, right? So he does that. And then there's also been this big thing about his, the posting that he did over Thanksgiving, which was, again, really unhinged. And because of that, one of the things he did is he called Minnesota Governor Tim Walz a slur, what I will refer to as the R word, but a slur that is just so profoundly, that's one of my big, so not okay. But somebody asked Tim Walz about it yesterday, and he was like, listen, something's wrong with the guy. Like, it's Thanksgiving. Everybody else is playing Yahtzee, eating and watching football, and he's out there posting these screeds about getting rid of immigrants, and he's going to denaturalize them and using the R word, and he's not okay. And he had this MRI in October that he told us about by accident in November. We want to see what's in that MRI. So that night, Trump was on Air Force One, and he said to a reporter, sure, I'll release it. I don't know what it was for. Like, who doesn't know what an MRI is for? but I know it wasn't my brain because I aced it. I aced the cognitive test. He doesn't seem to be aware that the cognitive tests that he's getting appear to be for dementia. But then yesterday, the White House released the results, but they didn't say MRI. They said imaging, which I am so not a doctor, but a lot of people reading that said this is not the kind of imaging we are talking about. And it's very clear that he is not, that this memo does not mention his brain and any scans that they might have done for brains. And obviously you do brain scans to check on for dementia. For the health of the brain tissue. So that's all in the background. So then we get all this posting in the middle of the night. And then today, Trump did a televised cabinet meeting. And everything that I just told you is the lead up to this, for me, for the lead up to this televised cabinet meeting, because a lot happened in that. So the first thing that happened is that Trump appears to have taken the side of Pete Hegseth. Hegseth basically blamed Bradley for the order again, and Trump basically stood behind Hegseth. Also, everybody around the table just completely said Trump was the best thing since sliced bread. Kristi Noem said he had stopped hurricanes from hitting the United States this year. Nothing was ever as great as Trump. And then he did a few things, one of which was he goes on a long rant about immigrants, about Somali immigrants. Obviously, Tim Walz is in his head because there are a lot of Somali immigrants in Minnesota. But also he went on a tirade about how affordability is a Democrat scam, is what he said, the word affordability, because it's not, they're turning the people's concerns about the cost of living into some kind of political event by Democrats. Okay, so that's out there. I'm going to come.
All of what he showed himself yesterday, everything that he showed himself yesterday should have put a light bulb should have went off in a lot of people's head yesterday, because we sat and we listened to that whole screed, that whole thing. He fell asleep. Hurricane, Somalia, we don't want the Somalia people here. Double down on the retarded phrase. Just everything she's saying, he doubled down on it. This was wild, and this is not the behavior of a president. I just don't understand how long they're gonna drag it out. They're just gonna drag it out. Okay, no, she is one of the leading people who have studied Republicans and history and all of this stuff. She's forgotten more than you will ever remember. Stop it. She's forgotten more than you will ever remember. She's a scholar. She's one of them smart people. Y'all need to stop it.
Come back to that in a minute. And you have the cabinet members all sort of saying he's just the best thing ever. And then as the cabinet members are saying this and how great he is, and he's the only one who can stop a war in Russia, and on, he falls asleep. I mean, the dude cannot stay awake. And the reason I'm mentioning all of this stuff is because, well, you asked questions specifically about that double tap.
How do I get
There's a larger story here. And the larger story is that Trump and his administration is crumbling. He is crumbling. He is, just watch him.
That's her name. Her name is Heather Cox Richardson. Heather Cox Richardson. So all you got to do is go look her up. Heather Cox Richardson.
You don't have to take my word for it. Just watch him. And imagine what you would do if that were your relative, one. And two, remember that he is the most powerful person in the world with control over American nukes, the American Defense Department, with everything the United States of America stands for.
And that's what's scary. He's in charge of the nukes. Hey, Rainbow Kid, Black America. He's in charge of the nukes. He's in charge of making policy. He's in charge of going against people, sending police on people, SWAT people, ICE people. he is all of these things. It's wild that we have this person that's in charge of our nuclear arms and our wow.
And so he's crumbling. But now they've also got all these other problems. So you've got Hegseth deeply enmeshed in what certainly appears to be a war crime, even though he's blaming Bradley for it. Obviously, people know what happened, and I can't imagine they're all going to stay quiet. You've got Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Health and no, the other one, Homeland Security, who has been fingered as the person who overrode or who ignored Judge Boasberg's order not to deport that plane that Abrego Garcia was on all the way back at the beginning of the term. I have my doubts about whether or not it actually was her who gave the order personally, but that's the person that the administration has identified. You've also got her having the issue of funneling all that money, I think it's $220 million, to a contractor who subcontracted out things like the advertising that the Homeland Security Department has been doing, of like her riding the horse everywhere and all that, and her being connected to some of those subcontractors, personally connected, especially through Corey Lewandowski, who's one of her advisors. Then you've also got this new report about the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, and his deputy head, Dan Bongino, that some of the people involved in the FBI have been reported where they say these guys just don't have any concept of what they're doing. So you've also got.
And we have all of these incompetent people running all of these things. And everybody, and we got a section of the electorate. We got a section of people who voted who think this is okay. This is what we're trying to say. What this administration is doing is not okay. Okay? Their behavior, their expertise, everything is lacking. How do you have this many steps? How do you have this many missteps in one administration? How do you have that?
Got the fact that very quietly, a number of Trump's appointees have not been going through. They've had to pull, I think it's 57 of them, because they're just not being vetted. And even Kennedy of Louisiana, Senator Kennedy of Louisiana, is like, they're not even vetting these people.
They're not.
So you've got this kind of.
So they're not vetting the people. They're just putting the people to work. They're not even vetting any of the people that's in the administration. Wow.
Stew going on in the executive branch, where you've got real issues of competency. And then, of course, you've got Pam Bondi, who is, her stuff's blowing up in her face. You've got those real issues of competency.
I mean, it's obvious that that the administration is incompetent. It's obvious that that's what it is. I don't understand why a portion of the electorate was okay hiring an incompetent person and then turning around knowing he was going to hire incompetent people. That's why they keep making missteps all over the country. They keep making missteps because they're too incompetent to do the right thing. They don't understand any of the nuances of what this country is about. No, we're talking about Donald Trump. Don't try to put it on nothing else. This is Donald Trump right here.
And what certainly seems to be, for a number of the people involved, issues of legality. That's what's going on in the executive branch. Now you've got the legislative branch, the Congress, the House and the Senate, both controlled by Republicans, but both of which are exceedingly nervous about how angry the American people are about the executive branch, because the executive branch has just been going wild, right? It's been doing whatever it wants. So now you've got the legislative branch, where these people need to get reelected or have to at least answer to their constituents. And they're angry. In the House, Republicans are angry at House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is refusing to put forward anything that Trump doesn't want. And in the Senate, they're mad at the House, but they're also mad at Trump because, for example, one of the things on the table right now is trying to extend those premium tax credits that are going to support the cost of healthcare policies under the Affordable Care Act. Now, Trump doesn't want those. Trump wants to get rid of that, and a lot of hard-right MAGA wants to get rid of that. But 78% of Americans want those extended, and the states are going to be.
And that's why the Republicans are behind the 8 ball, because the Republicans don't want to give the Americans affordable health care. They don't want to do it. That's going to be an issue. And after last night's election, it's going to be even a bigger issue.
The hardest hit by the loss of those are Republican states. So they've been trying to come up with a solution.
So they've been burning. So they burn their own self. See, that's the problem. You burn your own self up. Republicans just keep hitting their own self in the head. They keep banging their own head against the wall. You keep saying no, 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 but we keep telling you that the American electric wants what we're telling them, healthcare, but the red states keep bouncing their own head against the wall. They always do it. It is what it is.
Solution in Congress, especially in the Senate, but they can't because Trump won't settle on what he wants, and they don't want to bother to write something knowing that it'd go to him and he simply won't sign it. So now they're saying, well, it looks like that's dead in the water. That's going to be real popular, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got this struggle going on within the Republican Party, but you also have a struggle going on now between certain Republican members of the Senate especially, but of the Senate and the House, and Trump loyalists. And you can see this playing out in a lot of different ways. You can see it with the number of discharge petitions that you're suddenly seeing in the House of Representatives. Discharge petitions are really rare. But you've got suddenly now, I think we're up to 3 discharge petitions. 2 have been successful, and now there's a discharge petition to try and get the ACA tax credits extended. So you're starting to see pushback against Johnson, and you're also starting to see senators really, really angry because Trump doesn't seem to care about any electeds. He seems to be like, I'm going to do whatever I want. He's not even trying to make nice with the American people. He sits there and says, affordability, everything's fine. But what's interesting about that whole concept of affordability is it's not just about the cost of coffee. It's not just about the cost of gas. It's not just about the cost of housing. What I think we are seeing is Americans across political parties finally articulating their frustration with a political system that has concentrated wealth among a very small group of people who now are easily identified as being part of what others have called, and I have adopted, the Epstein class. Those people who have more money than God and who are untouchable, who just can flout the law without any repercussions, or have been able to until now. And that cuts across parties, it cuts across professions, but you know exactly the kind of people that I'm talking about. So you got to throw that in this mix as well, and I'll come back to that in just a second. So
what she's trying to say is, you Republicans, you MAGAs are cooked, and you just don't know it. There's light at the end of the tunnel, everybody. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't nobody care about what men think, Black America. We're not talking about men right now. We're talking about regular, everyday, average American people who are rejecting this president en masse. There's plenty of people that we got the ones, the little maggots that are rolling around at the bottom of the pool, crying. But it's basically over. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. Last night's election showed us that. It's a sad thing, but the light is at the end of the tunnel, and it's gonna be over come November 2026. You just hold on a little while longer. It's gonna be over in 2026. All this nonsense.
So you've got all these things going on, and you can see how scared the Republican electeds are right now. If you look at the special election being held today in Tennessee, and if any of you are here from Tennessee and you are
I can't help it, y'all. I can't help it, you zombies. I call y'all zombies. The ones over here who don't see the writing on the wall, you're a zombie. If you don't see the writing on the wall, you're a zombie. Because the writing on the wall says it's over for this bullshit.
Haven't voted yet, just turn me off and go vote, right? Because that special election in that district, in the Tennessee district where it is being held, I believe that district went for Trump by 22 points. So less than a year after that election, are we less than a year? No, we're just over a year after the 2024 election. The Republicans should be able to run a stuffed animal in that election and win.
Be able to run a stuffed
voters are
animal.
so unhappy and are articulating their unhappiness to the point that people have been pouring money into that election. And the Democrat is within striking distance of winning that election. And that's why somebody said, why is everyone paying so much attention to this special election in Tennessee? And the answer to that is that Democrats have been overperforming by between 14 and 16 points. This is a 22-point district, I think, off the top of my head. So everyone's watching to see how the Democrat will do.
Don't worry about whether she has a degree. Worry about the 20, 30 other people that keep telling you that it's over, Steve. When 20, 30 other people keep telling you that it's over and you goofies keep saying, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. You're a zombie. You're a zombie. People, at every turn, people are telling you they don't want what's going on with this president. And you keep saying, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, you all are lying. I'm the one that's right. I'm the ones that's right.
To see just how fragile the Republican MAGA coalition has been. But now let's go back quickly to what I was just saying about Trump not caring about what the voters want, because I think you can see this dramatically in a lot of ways. I mean, Carolyn Leavitt, the way she talks to people, Trump's inability to control himself when he calls a reporter piggy, for example, but also Hegseth's posting of that made up children's book, in which he appeared to make fun of open murder by the American people, because those people represent us, showed such a profound disrespect, not only for the murdered people and the country from which they came, but for us, but for those of us who say, we care about the laws of war. We care about.
Hold on. Here we go.
Cameras back here.
Yeah, we gotta work on it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. You all set? Well, we're talking about cafe standards, a very big deal, very important today. My administration is taking
What fresh hell do we have now?
historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, cafe standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices. Combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate, Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New scam. It's part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in America.
Everything's a scam. Nobody's scamming, but everybody's scamming but him. Everybody is a scammer except him.
American history, the Green New scam, and it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way. I want to thank Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, Deputy Transportation Secretary Stephen Bradbury, as well as CEO of Ford, Jim Farley. Jim, where is Jim? Let's see. Hi, Jim. Congratulations. You're doing a great job. CEO of Stellantis, Antonio.
Let's see how long it takes him to start talking about himself. Let's see how long it takes him to start playing the greatest hits, the greatest Trump hits. Let's see how long.
Filosa. Thank you very much, Antonio. Chairman of the National Automobile Dealers Association, Tom Castrida.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very
Yes,
much,
sir.
Tom. Great to have you. And Manager of General Motors Orient Plant, John Urbanek.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great to have you guys here. And you're going to say a few words in a minute about how ridiculous this was, but we've just freed you up. So you're going to have a good day and have a good number of years. Thanks as well to Senator Shelley Moore Capito, Ted Cruz, Kevin Kramer, Marcia Blackburn, Eric Schmidt, and Bernie Marino, as well as Representatives Sam Graves, Vern Buchanan, Mike Kelly, Roger Williams, Lisa McLean, and Troy Balderson. All great people. These are great people. And I know there's a lot of support long beyond the people that are here. We had tremendous support on this. From day one, I've been taking action to make buying a car more affordable. I signed an executive order to end the unfair, expensive electric vehicle mandate. As you know, we had to have an electric car within a very short period of time, even though there was no way of charging them and lots of other things. It would have cost $5 trillion to build the charging plants. And as you know, in certain parts of the Midwest, they spent to build 9 chargers, they spent $8 billion. So that wasn't working out too well. That was done before me, by the way. I wouldn't have let it go forward. We're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standards, one of the most important things that I've never had a group of people come to me more powerfully and really just devastated that they had to do it. It was killing them than the automobile manufacturers, the tailpipe emission standards. And I can tell you, your people at Ford were coming to me all the time, and they were saying, like, please, it doesn't do anything, and it's killing us. And it's driving the cost through the roof. And we revoked Biden's emissions waiver for California so that California communists could not regulate the automobile industry and ruin the entire
California communist.
nation of automobiles. And they were doing that too. But we have
Biden did it. Biden did it. Don't say nothing. I chipped my tooth. Biden did it. Oh, man, the car went down the street without any brakes. Biden did it. Biden did it. Well, if you say Biden did it, I bet you say Biden 10 times.
that now under control also with your governor, who's got much more than he can control. Now, under the new rules being issued today by Secretary Duffy, the Department of Transportation will rescind the Biden fuel economy prices. And I hate to say that because they were really not economy. They were really, they were anti-economy. They were horrible what they were doing to the costs and actually making the car much worse. But these policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car, and we think substantially more than that. Under the Trump administration, $70 billion are now being invested in the American auto industry. Ford has announced it will invest $5 billion across its Kentucky and Michigan plants. Is that a correct statement?
That's right.
That's a lot, $5 billion. You could do more.
I thought we were trying to lower food prices. Why we worry about cars? I thought we were supposed to be lowering food prices. Ain't that what the administration said they were going to be doing?
Creating at least 4,000 new jobs. Stellantis announced that it will invest $13 billion to expand its U.S.-based manufacturing by more than 50% and open new manufacturing facilities across the country. And I think a big part of that is also the tariffs. Because of tariffs, they're coming in, not only the automobile industry, AI, we're leading China in AI, we're leading everybody in AI, we're leading everybody in everything. We have the hottest country.
He don't care at all about regular people. Not at all. Not at all.
Right now, I will tell you, a lot of political people behind me, great political people, very successful political people. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
You can keep saying it, but that don't mean it's true. The hottest country in the world, that don't mean it's true.
1 year ago, we had a dead country, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And it started from November.
A year ago, we had a stable country. A year ago, we had a stable country. Now we swinging pillar to post around here.
November 5th, but it also started when we did the tariffs, and we've had tremendous support on the tariffs. It's bringing in trillions of dollars of wealth. It's bringing in national security.
Only the goofies believe that. Only the goofies believe that.
And I've stopped 8 wars, and of the 8 wars, 5 of them.
8 goddamn wars. Name them, goofies in the chat. Name all 8 wars, goofies in the chat.
Have been because of tariffs and trade, so they're very important. And General Motors plans to invest $4 billion as it brings.
No, I need y'all to name those 8 wars. Name the 8 wars that he's just named. He stopped 8 wars. I need the zombies in the chat to name the 8 wars. Go ahead, zombies.
It's manufacturing back to the United States from Mexico. After falling by 5% under Biden, U.S. auto production has surged by 10% so far this year. You know, I won the auto workers vote, but now even the head of the auto workers said Trump is the greatest president we've ever seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Only to dumb people. Only to dumb people.
And happens to be right about that. But we're protecting our auto workers, and we're making it easier for every family to afford high-quality cars. In other words, we're bringing automobiles back and the manufacturing of automobiles back into this country. We lost 52% over the years, 52% of our automobile manufacturing. You see it, closed factories all over the place. Now they're all opening up. They're being, in most cases, they're being knocked down.
This president has got to be the most goofy and delusional one yet. He has got to be the most delusional president yet.
Down, and new ones are being built in their place. And a big beneficiary is the state of Michigan, but South Carolina, even states that didn't really do too much with the automobiles, they're opening up plants. It's been amazing. So between automobile plants, AI plants, and plants of every other nation, really every other type.
AI plants,
including chips. We're going to have a big percentage of the chip market very soon, not because of the CHIPS Act, which was horrible and ridiculous, where we just gave these companies billions and billions of dollars and they just kept the money, but because of what we did with tariffs. They have to build here, otherwise they're going to have to pay tariffs. They won't be able to do business in the United States. And we're going to have a big percentage of the chip industry. As of about a year ago, 2 years ago, we had none.
He sounds smart to dumb people, but we got zombies in the chat. So he got to say it 5 times. Y'all believe it. Weak-minded.
And now we're going to have a very big percentage when it all finishes out. So I'd like to ask Secretary Duffy to speak, and then Mr. Farley, and then...
You need to figure some shit out, Blackwood. You need to figure some shit out, Black Wolf. This president is dumb as hell, and his policies are damaging the country. And thank God November 2026 is coming.
And Filosa and Urbanik and Castrita, and also we're going to ask some of our political...
He said Trump is a genius. Y'all going to make my head hurt. Y'all going to make my head hurt when you say, Lord, let me stop.
The leaders to speak, because let me tell you, they went out of their way. This was not easy. And people were brainwashed. This is a green new scam. And people were paying too much for a car that didn't work as well. And now they're going to have a great car that's going to be environmentally friendly, but it's going to cost you a lot less, and it's going to work great. All of the nonsense is being taken out of the cars. So, Secretary Duffy, could you say a few
Thank you,
words?
Mr. President. So yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the president was talking about affordability and the way that Democrats talk about affordability.
Okay. We gonna listen to how many times they compliment the president. Oh, with your great leadership, you dumb motherfucker. With your great leadership, Trump. With your great vision, Trump. Let's see how much they suck. Let's see how much dick they suck today.
Affordability is a lie. Today is a perfect example of that. So these CAFE standards used what was contrary to the law. The Congress set a rule that says you have to look at combustion engines. Biden and Buttigieg actually
that is the dick riding syndrome. Let's see how much of the dick riding syndrome we're gonna have today.
did an analysis using
Let's see how many of them gonna have.
Buttigieg used EVs and hybrids to come up with a 62 mile an hour per gallon standard, which I think the car companies will tell you is completely unattainable. So they spent a lot of money on technology trying to meet the unattainable standard, driving up the cost of a car, number one. And then number two, if they couldn't meet the unattainable standard, they had to trade for carbon, costing billions of dollars, and again, driving up the price of the car. So, Mr. President, what Democrats were doing, we're not making cars more affordable. They're making them less affordable. The consequence of that is going to be that more Americans can afford to buy a new car, which means they're going to be safer on the roads because of all the great new technology we have that save lives. So we'll have less death on American roads. These rules are going to allow the automakers to make vehicles that Americans want to purchase, not vehicles that Joe Biden and Buttigieg wants them to build, which is important. But also, this is important for American jobs. The more cars we sell, the more jobs we have in this country. And so this is jobs, this is freedom, and this is common sense, Mr. President. So thank you for your leadership. And I appreciate what the Senate did with the big, beautiful bill. And
thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the big, beautiful bill. Number two, Dick Ride.
what we've done here today. So
Thank you
Mr.
very
President.
much. Big, beautiful bill is it's something. It's amazing. Wait till the people see
The big, beautiful bill. Oh, yeah, I forgot. How many of you people benefited from the big, beautiful bill? Put in the chat what he did for the 30,000, between 30,000 and 150K. Please put in the chat what he did for those people, please.
the benefits and the lower taxes that they're going to have, lower regulations. So how about Ford?
Mr. President and Secretary,
Let's see how much he pucker up and dick ride. Let's see.
all the important lawmakers here, competitors, today is a victory of common sense and affordability. We're very proud of Ford to be the number one auto producer in our country. 80% of the vehicles we sell here, we make in our country.
Right.
And we never left, unlike many of our competitors. We're the number one exporter, and we have the most auto factory workers. And this CAFE standard that is aligned with customer demand is the right move for a lot of reasons. We were number 2 last year in EV sales. We were number 3 in hybrid, and we're the leading brand for combustion. We believe that people should be able to make a choice, as you said, Mr. President, and we will invest more in affordable vehicles.
We will make a choice when cost of living goes up and some of the price for food and housing go down. But other than that, most people aren't buying a car because we can't afford a car. There's other things that are more important, like food and housing. I don't know why y'all came out with this shit. Nobody can afford a car.
This allows us to invest in affordable vehicles made in the U.S., which we will take the lead on, and will allow us to make vehicles more.
They don't want to release that report, optical antenna, because they know they've been shitting jobs. They done lost like 75,000 jobs last month. It was at a net loss of 75,000 jobs. They don't want to release the reports. They don't want to release no reports. They got goofy goofies believing everything they say. So as long as they got goofy goofies believing everything they say, they not going to release no report. They lost like 75,000 jobs last month.
Affordable.
And the only reason why we know that is that ADP is an independent agency and they release their numbers. That's the only way we know what they lost. Why would I keep the jobs report under wraps if I had a good record? I'd be out there holding that fucking report, showing it to every damn body, even if it wasn't full finished. I'd be holding that motherfucker talking about we made job. They ain't made a damn job. They done lost jobs.
So thank you for making this step for all of you.
Thank you very much.
Stop lying, Black Wolf. Stop lying. Everybody know the prices is still up.
One of the other things we're doing, it's separate from this meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan,
President don't have nothing to do with gas, goofy. President don't have nothing to do with gas, goofy.
where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small. They're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful, actually. If you take a look, Honda, some of the Japanese companies do a beautiful job, but we're not allowed to make them in this country. And I think you're going to do very well with those cars. So we're going to approve those cars. Would you like to say something about that?
Well, no, just that he never stops working. So even when he's on Asian time, he's calling me at midnight in the States. But he gave me the directive to clear the regulations on this.
I swear to God, he got some of y'all so snowed. Y'all sound wild. And y'all really do sound like zombies. Y'all really, really, really do sound like zombies.
Which we have. And so if Toyota or any other company wants to make smaller, more affordable cars, fuel efficient, we have cleared the deck so they can make them in America and sell them in America.
They're really nice and less expensive. And it really gives people a chance to have a car, have a brand new car as opposed to a car that maybe isn't so great. And so
y'all sound crazy at this table. All y'all, including the president, sound crazy. Ain't no price decline. They try. This is called gaslighting. This is called Republican gaslighting, y'all. Don't believe it. That's what it's called.
you car companies start thinking about that. I think it's
You know damn well ain't nobody trying to buy no car. So who cares about this shit right here? We care about where the groceries gonna go down. When the housing gonna go down. When that shit gonna go down. Don't nobody give a damn about no car. We give a damn about housing and food.
it's going to be a tremendous market. Please, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great day for us at Stellantis today because it's the day where we see CAFE regulation reconciled
Absolutely, Harry Callahan. Absolutely.
with real customers' demand. That's why at Stellantis we decided to invest to Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler $13 billion in the next 4 years, increasing production by 50%, delivering to the market 5 new vehicles, and creating 5,000 additional jobs. That's because we believe in what you, Secretary Duffy, and all your team is doing in this country. We believe in growth, and we're ready to invest even more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much also for this great news of the key cars, which we are very interested in. And we are very looking forward to work with Secretary Duffy, your team, in the future for the next steps. Thank you very much.
We'll get ready for those cars because we've
We will.
already cleared the way. You can start right away.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you,
President.
thank you very much. Please.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
We support your leadership for this issue that is so important to the auto industry. I'm here representing the hard-working men and women of Orion Assembly in Michigan.
Right.
The facility, our manufacturing facility there is currently going through a retool so that we can build additional U.S. manufactured pickup trucks and full-size sport utilities for our customers. And we're so excited about that. And thank you for your support. Secretary Duffy, thank you as well.
And this is largely coming in because of the tariff situation. We're taking in trillions of dollars, actually, trillions, and we have so many other advantages. But these great companies are coming back to the United States. They left the United States. If somebody was sitting behind this desk that knew what they were doing, that wouldn't have happened. They would have said, well, you can sell your car here, but we're going to put 100% tariff. And you would have never had the auto industry leave. Again, we lost more than 50% of our auto industry. And now it's all coming back. And I think it's coming back. Ultimately, it's going to be bigger. I believe it's going to be bigger than it was before, actually. but it's an honor to have you here. And please, would
Yes,
you
sir.
like to say
Mr.
something?
President?
Thank you very much.
Tom Castrator, sir. I'm the chairman of National Automobile Dealers that represent 18,000 dealers in the country, along with 3,000 heavy-duty truck dealers. And what the actions that you've done as the president and your administration is definitely going to save our customers money. And you made your promises that let the consumer buy what they want, sir, and you delivered on that. And the other thing that you delivered was your promise in the big, beautiful bill, the tax deduction on loans that had gone away some years back.
Right.
And now that makes it affordable for our buyers that can save money through that loan of the tax, anywhere from several hundred to several thousand. So again, sir, on behalf of all the dealers and our customers, we appreciate what you and your administration have done. And
A 50-year mortgage is wild. Do you know how many people gonna flock to get that 50-year mortgage? That shit is wild. This is wild. This is crazy.
of course, our legislative support as well, Mr. President.
Thank you. That's very nice. And I'm glad you brought that up. We're allowing people to deduct. So if you go out and buy a car, and this is for middle income, but for lower.
Think it ain't no horrible deal? That's crazy. This is crazy. Every time we turn around, he come up with some other scheme to draw the American people in. But you got goofy people who believe it. This is crazy. This is wild. I don't know about you, Harry Callahan. I done had 4, 5, 6 marriages. Goofy. Goofy. Goofy.
Or income, no matter what. They never really had deductions. You know, rich people like deductions, but middle income people were never really afforded deductions, which is very unfair. You borrow money to buy a car, you're allowed to deduct the interest from your income tax. And I think that's going to be one of the most, in terms of your industry, I think it's going to be the biggest thing that we're talking about, maybe even bigger than cafe standards. People are going to be able to borrow money, deduct it. So it's going to cost them essentially half. And they'll be.
It'll help. Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be a tremendous factory. They've never had a chance to do that before. And that's all done. That's all in the great, big, beautiful bill. So it's really terrific. I'd like to ask a couple of our political.
It's really terrific, according to you, if people had regular, everyday, ordinary lives and they weren't behind on their mortgages and their rent and their car note and they weren't robbing Peter to pay Paul and they weren't scraping together money. That would be amazing. But this bullshit doesn't work for regular, ordinary, everyday, average Americans. And you have nothing to help the everyday, average Americans.
Leaders to say, because you guys have done an amazing job. This was something that was going to be very tough. We had to fight.
Ain't no damn closing the border, bringing no big, beautiful bill, bringing no money. They ain't brought in no money. Nobody said, why the hell ain't our debt clock went down then? Why ain't our debts went down then? I ain't seen no money applied to the debt. Where that Doge money? Man, y'all goofy and believe everything. Believe everything.
Lunatics to get it done, and they had no answers. You know, it's
you struggling right now. You struggling right now, user. Shut your ass up.
You just present them with the facts, and they just say, "Well, we're just not going to vote for it." They couldn't talk about it, but they didn't want to vote. I see Mike Kelly, my friend back there, has been with me from day one. Right?
Yep.
What do you have to say, Mike?
Well, you know what? I think you hit the key. Everybody's talking.
No, don't talk about the Democratic Party. Don't talk about the Democratic Party. Let's talk about your goofy president who putting shit up just like this, knowing full well regular, everyday, average Americans can't afford no goddamn car, can't afford no rent or no mortgage. They barely scraping by trying to pay for what they got. Ain't none of this stuff they proposing for regular, everyday, average Americans.
Thing. In America,
look at the way they like each other. You can see there's no hatred between these two guys.
No, as long as I beat his price, we're friends. No, but you hit it right on the head. The American people have always been able to choose what they want to buy.
Right.
They don't want to be taken out of a market.
And all it took was for him to say it, Mark Walter, for your goofy ass to believe it. For you to believe it.
By people who,
Gihanna.
quite frankly, don't even drive their own car, is saying this is the way you've got to go going into the future. Is say, well,
I don't need to get off my ass Harry Callahan. I work a job where I only have to work 2 hours every day and get paid for 8 hours. That's the kind of job that I have. And I talk to GMs and CEOs. Shut your ass up.
You may say that, but you're not in the market. You have no idea. And I know the business we're in. At the end of the day, if you were there with me, I'd say, "Oh, so Mr. President, other than price, what's keeping you from taking the car home today? It's always price." And the fact that we can build a car that's affordable, that people want to buy, that's the key to it. What you've done is unlock the most ridiculous statute that ever came in with CAFE. It wasn't done by the Congress.
Here's the dick ride. Here's the dick ride.
It wasn't done. It was done by President Obama after the courts failed on it. So thank you for doing what you're doing. You're making America great again in every single way. Thank you.
Thank you. It's going to be so big for the auto manufacturers. People aren't even going to believe the impact this has. You know, Mike used
It's called salary work, Dave. It's called salary work.
to come to my rallies all the time. We'd have a rally and it was like 0 degrees. It was freezing. Everyone, and he'd sit there without a shirt on. And I didn't need that, you know. I didn't say it was pretty, but he would sit there in the cold and he didn't mind it at all. I said, "That's one tough cookie, right?"
You lit it up. You know, we didn't need any heat. You were there.
We had a good time. We had a lot of great rallies.
We
right?
did. We did.
Pennsylvania. Please, Mr. Congressman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I represent the dealer, but I'm a dealer, and we got some other dealers in here, but this is huge for the dealer body, the local car dealer. We're going to be able to sell what the customer wants. The manufacturer's going to make what the customer wants. We've got all kinds of options to the big bill.
You know how this would help us? This would help us, not help me. Help somebody that is regular, everyday average American, the everyday average American making less than 50K. How this would help them is if y'all cut at least 20 grand, shave 20, 30 grand off the price of those cars that are expensive. The cheapest car, like they used to do back in the day when I was younger, they used to have a certain model. Okay, we're going to sell this model and we're going to sell it to you at 2%. And then we're going to sell all the cars that we can, this particular model, for 2%. They can't even do that. They can't even help the American people out like that.
It's going to enable people, as we talked about, to deduct payments and so forth. As we say in the business, they've never been cheaper than they are today, Mr. President. And it's going to be.
And that's how they used to get people to come to their dealership. They used to have a big old sign out in front of the dealership. 2% rate. We give you 2% rate if you come in and buy Chevy Cavaliers. If you buy Chevy Cavaliers, 2% rate, we will give you a car. And that's how they used to get people in the cars.
A great opportunity for the dealer body to sell what consumers want. And 99% of the businesses in America are small businesses. Many are car dealers, employ a lot of people. It's going to be a great year for us. We appreciate your leadership. And we appreciate, from a retail standpoint, we appreciate the manufacturers going to step up and build cars that customers want and that we want to sell. So thank you very much. It's a great country.
You know what I mean?
He's also a very brave congressman because he was there on the baseball field that horrible day with Steve Scalise and some other people. He was hit, but he took it very well. He took it very well. You're my pal.
Thank you.
That's a great job.
Appreciate you.
Great job. Appreciate it. Kevin, could you say a few words of wisdom? One of the
Puerto Ricans would be goofy as hell if they were for Trump after the way he dragged them in the mud and dragging them over the border. You would be goofy as hell if you was a Puerto Rican for Trump.
really smart economic forecasters, I will tell you, beyond an economist. He's a real forecaster. Please.
Sir, I think that there's a massive macroeconomic benefit to what we're doing today. And the way to think about it is that the car that has the best gas mileage that you could buy that has only gasoline is a Honda that gets about 36 miles per gallon. Joe Biden wanted to make every car on average be above 50. So there's no car made in the US that you would be able to sell 2 years from now, 3 years from now under that rule, because what he wanted to do was make everybody have an electric car, as you know. But here's the thing, that if everybody had an electric car, then nobody would be buying gasoline anymore, and they'd have to take all the miles that they travel and put it on the grid. And so we would have to increase the production of electricity in the US by 25% over the next couple of years if they had their way. And so you've really stopped a massive disruption for the economy with this. So thank you, sir.
That wasn't the main reason, and yet it certainly is a main reason. You wouldn't have been able to do it even if you wanted it. It's just so crazy. That was the mandate, which we ended. Troy, would you like to say something?
Great honor. Thank you. My family is a former dealer, 48 years, Chrysler Dodge dealer. And then I got into the political world, sir. I had more fun in the dealership world, but I miss it. But I still play a big role in automobiles and grateful. I remember under President Obama when the CAFE standards changed, as Mike brought up, and going through those challenging times as a Chrysler dealer before Stellantis came along. It was Daimler before you guys got it. So thank you very much for being here and making these changes. And as you said, that interest on the car loan piece was big. And I know that Bernie led the charge on that in the Senate and get it into one big, beautiful bill. That really is a big deal. And people need to understand how big a deal that is.
You did a great job. And by the way, we had a great victory.
That's the whole point. The whole point is you haven't done anything for the regular, everyday, average American. This is not what everyday, average American people care about. They don't care about these car prices because they can't afford to buy cars. They care about food. They care about affordability. They care about that rent. All I hear people say that I run into during my work hours is that they can't afford their rent. They got to have somebody pay their rent. See, I found they told me this one lady told me the other day she got somebody who pays her rent on the 1st, and then she pays them half the rent, and then she pays the other half on the 15th. She says she can't afford to pay her rent straight up. So there are places out there that will pay your rent for you on the 1st, and you can pay them half on the 1st, and then you can pay them other half on by the 15th. And you can get your rent every 2 weeks. You can pay your rent, and they will pay your rent fully on the 1st. I didn't know there was places like that, but it is what it is.
Last night.
I like our race.
He's going to be a great congressman. I think so. Really, like us, right?
Yeah, I like us.
One of my early endorsements, right?
Yes, sir.
Can we talk about it? You're right there, man. Come here. Let me say hello to you. Please.
You sound goofy, user. You sound goofy as hell. That's goofy as hell.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership with this
Thank you for your leadership. Here comes the dick riding.
thing I've admired most. You've been in business,
right.
you've been in the battles over the years, and you're helping us lead us out. Most people that are up here have no idea about business or small business. It makes a big difference. One is. Number two is, I would just say in terms of the tax stuff we're talking about, one of the things that get missed, and I'm in Florida, Sarasota region, is the ability to deduct. Most people have a small business, they'll have a lawn business, they'll have this,
Jovan,
that,
you
buy a
crazy.
used truck. They can.
Jovan, you sound crazy as hell. You sound crazy as hell. Jovan Jefferson, you sound crazy as hell. The worst president ever. And he definitely ain't no pro-black president. You sound goofy as hell.
Can take that deduction, let's say they're in a 20% tax bracket, but the vehicle's 60 grand, they can take 20% of the 60 grand, get a $12,000 write-off. They can pay their payments for the first year. That's a powerful tool we don't talk about. I don't know why, but at the end of the day, because of what you've put in place.
This is the darkest time in our history. The darkest time, the worst president, the worst electorate, the dumbest electorate, the dumbest, the most unproductive electorate ever. This is the time we're living in. This timeline is fucked up. And we got a clown that's leading the timeline with a bunch of incompetents running all the heads of freaking government. This is wild.
Full expensing,
Right.
that's the tool that would use. And you could just think about all the people in Florida, just general places. They're buying old vans or new vans. They're buying trucks, mainly trucks, and they're getting a deduction. They don't even have a payment for a year.
That's right.
So one of the best things for
One
Florida.
of the biggest.
You're retarded, Jovan Jefferson. You're retarded. You're a zombie on top of being retarded. You're a zombie. He's been in a Heather Worthy more. You of all people, I really look at you. I really look at you women as you goofy as hell. You really goofy as hell because you just who you voted for. But We ain't gonna get into why a female would vote for Trump, but you goofy as hell. The whole point is this is the worst administration ever. Every one of the heads of his departments has fucked up. Jovan Jefferson, if he's such a pro-black president, why is it that every time he go to Mar-a-Lago, they hide all the black people, any black people that work there, they got to be hidden so he won't see them? Why is that? Goofy.
Expensing is a powerful tool. They can write the whole asset off first year, take that deduction, put 12,000 in their pocket on a 20,000. Let me mention one other thing. They got into the e-vehicles, electric cars, and I'm talking to dealers that come in and talk to me, and basically they couldn't sell one, they couldn't give one away, and
it's all the way the truth. It's all the way the truth. Every time he go to Mar-a-Lago, they hide the black people. Any black people that work there. It's the golf course thing. Anytime he goes to his golf course to Mar-a-Lago, they gotta hide the black people. Because he doesn't want to see black people in Mar-a-Lago. And the people that run Mar-a-Lago know this. He hides all the black people. Goofies. The black people. And that's all he really wants. And and that's all he really wants is the Hispanic, the Latinos. That's all he wants is those people doing the dishes and carrying on and slaving and sweeping and doing all that.
When these companies they got in because of whatever political pressure under the Biden administration, and they end up realizing that they got no market. A guy says the car's been sitting there a year. I can't get rid of it.
Shut your goofy ass up, Ray. How the hell I come up, Jovan Jefferson, how the hell I come up with that fucking story if that fucking story wasn't true? How the hell I come up with that story? Goofy.
So they don't understand the market. The people produce the vehicles, and that's made a big difference in your leadership. But thanks for what you're doing here today. It's big, it's huge. It'll make a big difference. $12,000 on a $60,000 vehicle up front day one.
Sure did, Jonah. Sure did.
Yeah.
We're just talking about something that's interesting. Ford would make, and I don't want to speak for Ford because we have one of the top people right here.
Mr. President, it's fine if you want to talk about Ford.
Ford would make.
I don't see not one black, one Asian, or Latino. I don't see not now one up there on stage. Not now one up there. Not now one. Yeah, not now one.
Numerous electric cars in order to sell one Ford 150. Yes. Because they'd make all their money with the 150.
Yes.
And they were willing to lose money on building 2 or 3 electric cars that they couldn't sell in order to make some money on the 150, because the 150 is a monster. I'll tell you what, that no matter where you go, they love that Ford 150.
Yes.
But isn't it a ridiculous model when you have to build 2 or 3 cars that you know you're not going to be selling or not be selling for much in order to really do something that you should have the right to do, which is make a car that you want to make?
Yes.
You ain't got the best numbers, nothing. Stop talking to me, Jovan Jefferson. You sound dumb. 300,000 black American women got fired by Trump. We do not have the best record for black people. Shut your dumb ass up. Go do some research. You don't fire all those goddamn people in the government and you have good numbers. You don't have good numbers and you fired all those people. Goofy.
Market wants, right? So congratulations on the 150.
Thank you. Best-selling vehicle in the United States.
He fired all the women, fired all the blacks, fired all the most of the Hispanics. Shut your ass up talking about this is a good administration for men, for blacks and women. It's not. And he's going to go down in history as one of the worst presidents. Just saying.
Look at that. Now it's 100% built in the United States.
Now it's only going to do but it really is. It's amazing. It's an amazing brand.
There was a lot of stupid things done here.
What would you like to say?
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. President and Secretary Duffy and all of us
Yeah, Jay. Yeah, we are on the plantation, Goofy Joe Val Jefferson, because the Republicans have made it known that they don't want black people in their party. When you let people know that they're not welcome in your party, like the Republicans have let Hispanic people know, Latino people know, black people know, they have let those people know that they don't want them in their party. Why the hell would I be anywhere except in the Democratic Party? You sound dumb. Why would I be over there in the Republican Party when they don't want me over in the Republican Party? You sound dumb.
You know, one of the last times I was here is when you signed the electric vehicle CRA, Congressional Review Act, that all of us participated in, the beginning of really making common sense, because it was going to impact 17 other states and really a large part of our economy. This is about affordability here. I'm just going to say one thing. Well, maybe I already said one thing, so now I'm going to say two things. When we talk about a car and auto, we sort of talk about just, oh, we need a car. Do you know what a car does for a family? You can take your children to school. You can go.
Y'all sound dumb. Y'all sound dumb as hell. How many times do we have to hear leaked emails? How many times do we have to hear leaked emails? How many times do we have to go to TP USA, Turning Point USA, and get told that we're not wanted at TP USA? How many times do we need to go there? Okay? How many times? That's wild to me. How many times do we have to do all of those things for you to understand the Republican Party don't want you in their Republican Party? Goofy.
Go to the store. You can visit your mother. You can go to church. You can have a job.
No, prove me wrong. Ronald. We didn't get those emails from your young Republican. We didn't get those emails from your young Republican leadership, up and coming Republican leadership, making fun of gays, making fun of transgender, making fun of blacks, making fun of Hispanics. We didn't get those emails, Ronald M. We didn't get those. Vivek Ramaswamy didn't go to Turn Point USA and they told him he's not one of them. We didn't get those things. We didn't see that. We didn't hear that. Jesus.
You have the flexibility that you need. A car for an American family is about a roadway to prosperity.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. And so by making them more affordable, making them more choice driven by what families want and need, today is a great day for the American family.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And the American worker.
Say.
Well, thank you, Mr. President and Secretary Duffy, and to my colleagues that are here. In Tennessee, we make great automobiles, and we have.
John Woody, you are sadly mistaken. You all are sadly mistaken. It's called sticking your head in the sand. I just gave you straight incidents of being told that others are not wanted in the Republican Party, and you goofy still trying to tell me, why you on the Democratic plantation? We're on the Democratic plantation because the Republicans have let us know that they don't want us in their party. That's why we're on the Democratic plantation. I can't say it no more than that.
A fantastic workforce. And whether you're GM or Ford with their new investment in Tennessee, or Nissan or VW or Toyota with the engine plant, what you see is the components that are necessary to build these cars, and removing these standards and making cars more affordable.
Hey Joe is broke. They was holding them Republican dudes up. The young Republicans, them young Republicans come out with all that racist crazy shit on that email. Okay? And we're not supposed to look at it and say, oh shit. We're just supposed to say, oh no, that's just them. That's just them on the phone call. No. That's a lot of y'all off the phone call that believe exactly what those young Republicans believe. So yes, most Democrats are going to stay over here on the Democratic plantation because you Republicans don't want black and brown folks in your party.
does mean that more people will purchase them, but it also means we're going to have to make more cars to meet that demand. And for Tennessee, that is a great.
I beg to differ you. I beg to differ for you. That's so wrong, Jeff Julian. They telling you that's not it. Y'all, you learning really quickly.
So, I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, we have the biggest auto manufacturers in the world. They're talking about investing billions and they're investing it as we speak.
We don't know nothing, Jovan Jefferson. We don't know nothing. I can't make up what the Republican I can't make up what that Republican said. I can't make that up. They said
it. But billions and billions of dollars in our country. Thank you very much. And they're here. They're not like, well, maybe we'll do it. They're doing it because of tariffs.
Hey, Ms.
And
Walker.
they're doing it because of maybe they like the president, and we're doing things like this for them, which frankly, no matter who you are, this should be done. And we're doing things like deductibility of interest when you borrow money. To buy a car, you're allowed to deduct it from your income tax. That is a massive tax cut for people that probably are going to be trying to buy that car anyway. And I really think that interest factor is going to be one of the biggest things. What I was proud of that because I thought
this is the goofy part. They always hitting the wrong note. People can't afford cars. People can't afford their rent. People can't afford food. So if they can't afford food, what makes you think they finna go out and buy a car? Nobody's going to buy a car because they can't afford it. They can barely afford food. So this doesn't hit the mark at all because nobody's rushing out to buy a car. It's just wild. Look, this is crazy. Yeah, just like that 50-year mortgage garbage. It's just like that. It's just like that. Just want to reel the goofy goofies, especially you goofy goofies in the chat. Just want to reel the goofy goofies in to believing that this is actually a deal when it's not a deal. This is nowhere near a deal. It would be a deal if you guys cut the price by 1/3, 25%, and then said we'll give you 2% or 3% rate. But if you don't do nothing like that, it ain't worth nothing because nobody's going to buy a car. Nobody. Ain't nobody got no money like that.
Part of it, and it seems so simple. Other people are allowed big interest. If you're a rich person, you're allowed to have big interest deductions for different things you do. But if you're a middle-income person that has to buy a car, you were never entitled to anything. And now you're getting a full interest deduction on the loan. And I think that's going to have one of the biggest impacts. But we're here with companies that are investing tens of billions of dollars in our country as we speak. It's not going to be in 2 years or 3 years. A lot of it's because of the expensing provision in the bill, and the big, beautiful bill. But a miracle is happening in our country. It's a miracle. This is just the auto industry.
Goofy Jovan Jefferson. Goofy Jovan Jefferson. I gave you 2 instances in which these people, the leadership is denigrating Hispanics, blacks, women's, gays. The leadership, goofy. The young Republicans were the ones who were on some conference call denigrating black people, Hispanic people, gay people, Nazis. They were saying all that goofy shit. People say, well, why are you on the Democratic plantation? Because the Republicans have let us know they don't want us in their party. Goofy. Vivek Ramaswamy. Everybody know Vivek Ramaswamy. He's running for governor of Ohio. He went to Turning Point USA and said, hey, I want to be y'all governor. Them 3-4 white people got up and said, you don't have our values. We don't believe in what you believe in. What makes you think you're going to be our leader? We don't want you. We don't want no Muslim. We don't want no, Indian guy as our leader. Okay. You made it very clear you didn't want, the Republicans make it very clear they don't want anybody that's not white American in their party. They have made that clear. So yes, we're going to stick to our Democratic Party. Thank you very much.
Industry, but we have other industries where it's the same thing.
Sure don't,
They're
Josiah.
building
Sure
all
don't.
over our country, and this is a revolution is happening. It's a business revolution. It's a jobs revolution. It's a car revolution. We're bringing back the car industry that was stolen from us because we have people that didn't know what they were doing sitting at this desk. They put the wrong people in because they weren't advised properly. And this is really an incredible thing that's happening. Go ahead, Kevin.
Everybody don't have to speak. Goddamn.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And I think in many respects, pretty much everything that could be said has been, except that I think what Kevin talks about in terms of the cascading economic opportunity from this one single event is just the tip of the iceberg. When you think of all the rules around.
I don't know what you're talking about, Buffy G. Jackson. I have no idea what you're talking about. White people have had a 400-year head start, and we caught up with their ass. What the fuck are you talking about? We are independent from these folks. What the fuck are you talking about?
Regulations that you have repealed. I think it's more important, frankly, than the tax cuts. However, in the Working Family Tax Cuts Act, remember we made permanent a lot of really good policy from the first Trump era, not the least of which for small businesses is bonus depreciation, the opportunity to depreciate the year that you purchase an F-150 for your small business or a large truck for your farm. I just think we're going to roll into.
I've already explained my job. I don't have to explain my job again, goofy. I work 2 hours a day. I get paid for 8. I don't have to explain my job to you, goofy.
2026, and we're going to see an escalation of economic opportunity, the likes of which I probably have never seen.
I think nobody's ever seen it. Nobody in the world, because there's never been 18 or whatever.
It's never been. This is the unique administration. All goofies stepping all over each other, just stepping in their own shit. That's all this is.
It ends up being in 10 months.
Goofy. How many times I got to say it to you, Jovan Jefferson? You dumb as hell. I said it to you. Gave you 3 clear examples, but your goofy ass don't understand what I said. I'm not explaining again. You're slow and you eat goddamn charcoal. Shut your ass up.
We have $18 trillion being invested. We never had $1 trillion being invested. And Biden had.
You go say that bullshit and I will find you and hunt your ass down. And everywhere you go, I'll say, you're spitting lies and hatred. You dumb as hell. Specifically when I tell the truth. But that's okay. You can look it up. You can go say whatever you want. Because you can look it up. Nobody has to lie on you. Nobody has to lie on you. Go look up the Young Republicans email. Goofies. And you'll see the racism in there. Goofies. Stop telling me I'm lying. Go look it up. Young Republicans email that came out a couple weeks ago. Goofies. Just dumb. Just don't tell me I'm lying. You go find it out. I just told you what it was. That ain't super old. It came out 3 weeks ago. On top of the Vivek Rashami video, which came out 4 weeks ago. Bumpy G Jackson. That ain't no old stuff. That's recent stuff. Stop it. Look it up. Look up the video of Vivek Rashami running for governor of Ohio, goes to Turning Point USA. Go look it up. I just gave you all the information you need to look up. Vivek Rashami running for governor goes to visit Turning Point USA and gets told that they don't want his type as a governor. Jesus.
Much less than.
No, I ain't wrong. I just said go look it up. Go look it up. Vivek Rashami goes to Turning Point USA and gets told he ain't wanted. Go look it up.
And that, think of it, he had less than $1 trillion over 4 years. We have 18 trillion in.
He ain't lying for clout, goofy. It's on camera. It's on tape. Amen.
10 months. And it's actually as of 9 months. So there's never been anything. Eric?
Yeah,
what
Mr.
do you have
President,
to say?
thank you. And on behalf of the people of the great state of Missouri, who we actually make things from F-15s to F-47s now, thanks to you. We'll be building the F-47 and then F-150s. And those are real jobs. And we make things in Missouri. This is going to go a long way, I think, for making things more affordable for normal people. Nothing could be more American than driving a car on the highway. And this is going to make that more accessible for more people. So thanks for your leadership.
Your state's doing a great job.
Yeah, well, they love you too.
It's a great place. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to talk to you just a minute from a rural perspective,
Okay.
because these CAFE standards are absolutely unworkable in rural Missouri. We need vehicles that are practical and affordable and
Right.
can haul for our small businesses, for agriculture. And it just simply didn't work. Those CAFE standards didn't work. So I applaud you and Secretary Duffy for your hard work and what you're doing on behalf of rural America.
Well, it was keeping a lot of manufacturers out of our country too. They said, we're not going to, are you crazy? They thought, outside manufacturers thought we were absolutely insane with all of the different things and just made up nonsense. It was like made up. It was really made up by people that hate our country. I really, does anybody else have anything to say?
I'd say about two quick things, Mr.
Oh,
President.
no, Bernie, I didn't see you.
Two quick things I think are really important. So the person who sat behind this desk before you gave $7,500 in subsidies to multimillionaires who are leasing electric Rolls Royces, electric Porsches, electric Lamborghinis. We're getting $7,500 from the taxpayer. And these Democrats sit on this floor and say that Republicans are for millionaires and billionaires. We are the opposite of giving $7,500 to multi-billionaires to lease foreign electric vehicles.
You see the gaslighting. You see the gaslighting. You already gave a big tax cut to the rich people and didn't give anything to the poor people. That's the problem. You didn't give anything to the poor people. You gave all of the money to the rich people. We can see that. You can't really lie to us about it because we know what the big beautiful bill did. The big beautiful bill did nothing for the poor man. And we got poor people in the chat. Poor people in the chat crashing out over rich folks. Y'all know y'all need to quit, Trump. Trump know he need to quit. He got y'all twerking in the chat for him and his rich buddies. Twerking in the chat for the rich buddies.
Number two, because of your policies at the beginning of the year, 51%.
And now they dick riding in the Oval Office. Dick riding in the Oval Office. God damn.
The cars sold in America were made in America, 51% before you got sworn in. Last month, that number was 57%. We moved it 6 points, which nobody thought would be possible in 4 years. We did it in 10 months. That's something that maybe the news should cover a little bit more. And we've driven down the price of automobiles. Car prices for consumers are down before you did.
Most people in this chat disagree with me because you guys are zombies. Because you're zombies. That's why. The reason why I know that is because most people understand that this right here has nothing to do with poor people. If you think what has been happening to the Hispanic crowd makes them come over to your side, you're way hella wrong. If you think what is happening with ICE is making the independent people come over to your side, then you're hella wrong. That's the problem. They voted. Now they see what he is, Jovan. John. Now they see what he is. Now they all see what he is. And it's an image. I don't need to tell y'all this. Y'all know how to do, you know how to do research. You should see the numbers. I don't need to tell you the numbers. You know the numbers. I don't even know why we having a dispute. You know the numbers. Easy to look up. Go over to your Fox News, go over to your propaganda channel and look up the tallies.
Just about everything is down. You know, this whole thing is, they use the word affordability. It's a Democrat hoax. They're the ones that drove the prices up. And all they do is
It's a Democrat hoax. What's a Democrat hoax? What's a Democrat hoax? Has the prices went up since, has the prices went down since Trump was in office? I ain't seen prices go down nowhere. Ain't a price went down nowhere. What Democrat hoax? This is what we like to know. What Democratic hoax?
Say affordability, and you're supposed to say, oh, that means they had low prices. No, we inherit.
Now they throwing everything at the kitchen sink because they got goofy goofies, specifically goofy goofies in the chat that believe everything he says. Oh shit, the people want affordability. Let's start throwing all kinds of policies at them to make it seem as though we the affordability political party, when we just gave billionaires and millionaires all this type money. Let's let the goofies think we're the affordability party. And then goofy goofies are going to believe it. Going to believe that he's working for you. He's not working for you. He's never worked for you. He doesn't care whether you can afford it or not. He's doing a half-ass attempt to try to staff off the bleeding, and he can't staff off the bleeding, unfortunately, because people have seen him in all of his glory. They have seen him give money to Israel. They have seen him give money to Argentina. They have seen him tear down the White House. They have seen all of that, and they're saying no thank you. Most people are saying no thank you. And it's a lot of people in the chat, goofy goofies, y'all goofy. No, I really don't call y'all goofy. I call you zombies. Because you zombies, because you just hold your mouth open with your arms out and you believe and stuff everything into your brain that you hear from these Republicans. Because none of y'all put anything in the chat that helps you Republicans at all. That the big beautiful bill did. None of you can say anything about what the big beautiful bill did for you. Not one thing. That's why I say you're goofy, and you're over here fighting for rich people. You're over caping for rich people. They over here caping for rich people.
This is the worst inflation.
Caping for rich people. That's why. The president had nothing to do with gas prices, Jeff. You should know that if you've been on the planet long enough. Goofy.
In the history of our country. They say 48 years, but let's say that's history. I don't believe that. Biden had, because of his stupid way.
You think Democrats is crazier than this loon right here? Wow.
And between his energy policies and his spending policies, we had the worst inflation.
It's Biden fault. This is number 5. We done heard him say we done heard him say Biden 5 times. Bet you gonna get 10 of them before it's over.
In the history of our country. And now our prices are coming down. And
they don't even know how high their insurance went. Because the goofies is fighting hard for the rich people. They fighting hard for the rich people not to give them insurance. They don't even know what their insurance thing is. They don't even know what their insurance rates are. That's how goofy they are. They over here fighting for the rich guy. Caping for the rich man.
Coming down for cars, and they're coming down. I mean, did you hear yesterday when Chris Wright from Energy, the head of energy in our country, said there are now parts of our country, it's all happening, $1.99 for gasoline, a gallon.
Y'all see? If you really looking and paying attention, they're trying to swing and say gas is down, food is down. Everybody can go to the gas. Everybody can go to the gas store. Shit. Everybody can go to the gas station and everybody can go to the grocery store and see that the prices are not down. This is wild. He's talking about, gas is how much? $1.33? What? Where?
And we have it at $2.50, $2.60. It was at $5. And that's bigger than any tax cut we could give.
The president is trying to make it seem as though he has something to do with gas pricing. He has nothing to do with gas prices. Nothing. He can call up the OPEC people. He can call them people up and say, hey, can you X, Y, and Z? Maybe you can be a little bit easier, but 9 times out of 10, he has nothing to do with gas prices. Yeah, he's lying out of his ass, right? He's lying out of his ass, and we got the goofy goofies believing him. We just some of y'all just too far gone. That's all.
And, for the average family, that's considered bigger than any tax cut. So the word affordability, when they mention it, you ever watch them? It's all about. I saw the young lady that.
It's a Democratic hoax. It's a Democratic hoax. Listen to him say Democratic hoax or some shit. Watch this. Watch this.
Lost last night. She lost by a lot more than they thought. And we
No. She didn't lose by a lot more than they thought. She lost by 7. She lost by 7, and she was in the single digits, and she got that ass. Okay, she came out of nowhere. She closed the gap on how many women? 22. 22. We got 10. We got 12. 34. She closed the gap on 15 points. She closed the gap on 15 points. So if she closed the gap on 15 points, then that means cut that in half. That's 8 points. If any Democrat is within striking distance, 8 points of any Republican, it's over. You know what? Let's just put it out there. We Democrats are going to take the House. The only difference is by how much. That's all. It's by how much. We're going to take the House. It's just going to be a matter of how much, because they're just that tired of this bullshit that this president is spewing. We're just that tired. And you guys know it too. You guys know it too. Y'all feel it. Y'all feel the heat. Y'all feel them feet. Y'all feel them drum beats. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Great new candidate in Congress. Really great, Matt Van Epps.
Don't do that, blue oxygen. Don't do that when we got the people in this administration committing murder. Don't do that. You ain't heard not one investigation, except I heard one investigation by one person. Don't do that when you got all these people, incompetent people when Bondi should be losing her license on top of appointing that freaking incompetent to try to get Comey when she should be losing her license. When freaking Hegseth should be going to jail for murder. When that retard, what's his name, the Indian guy, I forgot his name. When you got all these incompetent people working, who I swear to God, these people gonna go to jail. These people gonna go to jail. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's just we just gonna take the House November 26th, 2026. It's just a matter of how much. That's all.
But I saw last night, she said, it's all about affordability, all about it. They never talk about like the specifics.
Sure I'm not. Sure I am. Sure I am. My time? Sure I am. Sure I am. That's all you got to do is research. That's all you got to do, goofy goofies, is research.
Everything was through the roof. Eggs, when I took over, eggs were 4 times higher than they ever were. We got the prices down to the lowest level.
Yep.
I mean, amazing. But they never, you got to watch their.
Do you see how he's lying right now? Why were eggs so expensive? Can any of you maggots tell me why the eggs were so expensive? Can any of you tell us why the eggs were so expensive? He said the eggs were 4 times as high. Can anybody tell us why the eggs were so expensive? Because in the middle of the year, we had the flu. We had a flu. That ought to give you a hint as to what we had. We had a flu. Had nothing to do with the president. Goofy goofies.
They're great con people. It's like the Inflation Reduction Act. And after they got it approved, because everybody said inflation reduction, they admitted it had nothing to do with reducing inflation.
Lord, we finna do the greatest hit. Are we gonna? We were having a freaking press conference about some taxes on cars and all kinds of craziness that don't matter to the everyday average person. Now we finna do the greatest hits of President Trump, who has no greatest hits. Wow.
I think affordability is the greatest concept. They look at you and they say, affordability.
Affordability is a con job. Wow. Wow.
They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, their prices were so low. No, they had the worst inflation. We had the highest prices we ever had. And now they're all coming down, including beef is coming down. Beef was up there a little bit.
Wow.
Our ranchers did well.
Wow.
We're going to make them do a little bit less well, perhaps.
Wow.
But the beef is now coming down. Coffee is now coming down. It's all coming down. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But remember this, when they use the word affordability, they just say, they never say anything else. This election's about affordability. And then they go into the next subject. It's a con job. They caused the highest prices in the history of our country, the worst inflation in the history of our country.
We got the hits. We got the greatest hits going.
Prices down.
We got the greatest hits going. Here he goes. Here he goes. We got the greatest hits going. Here we go. Here we go. The greatest hits are going. Biden did it. I broke my nail. Biden did it. Oh shit. Gas is high. Biden did it. Oh, the food is out of order. Biden did it. Oh shit. You crossed lanes. Biden did it. Biden did it. Biden did it. Wow. No accountability whatsoever for what he has done. Not one accountability. I don't think I blocked anybody. I don't block anybody. You don't bother me. I'm not bothered by you.
And they're coming down rapidly, and you'll see those results very soon. Anybody else want to say a few words? Oh, Ted, I can't believe it.
I'm easy to miss.
It's very rare that I would miss. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, Mr. President, I want to congratulate you on behalf of everyone here for the leadership that you're showing. And this is a victory today for consumers. This is a victory for affordability. Your critics like to say the word affordability. Under Joe Biden and the Democrats, they put mandate after mandate after mandate on cars and trucks, and they drove the price up thousands and thousands of dollars. And with the actions you're taking today, and you put on top of that the one big beautiful bill, most of the senators here on the Senate Commerce Committee.
And one of the biggest opportunists in the Senate of the history of the Senate is this dude right here. Yeah, right here. The biggest opportunist there is.
And on the Commerce Committee, we worked together to zero out the CAFE standards. We wrote that into the law that the CAFE standards went to zero. What does that mean? It means you can now, as a consumer, buy the car you want. It also means people's lives will be safer, because what these regulations did is they forced cars to be more expensive.
This is amazing, Robert Greene. I agree with you wholeheartedly. None of us mean a motherfucking thing. Not to this president. Never did. Never did. And you got goofies in here defending this person. Never did. See, that's the thing. We Democrats understand that. It's just you MAGA people who think he cared about you. Who think he really cared about you.
And made of plastic instead of steel. Because you had to make them lighter to comply with these standards, so you'd get in a wreck and people would
Dave,
die.
I'm so
the
hurt.
results of what you're doing, you're literally.
Dave, I'm so hurt. You're such a boy. I'm so hurt, Dave.
Saving people's lives, and you're making it where families can afford to get a new car. These actions will drop the cost of cars and trucks thousands of dollars. That makes a real difference. And I'll make one final point. About half the members here are car dealers. And I will say my good friend Roger Williams out in the lobby, he tried to sell me a car, which didn't surprise me, but I just want to give props to Mike Kelly. He showed he was savvier because he tried to sell you a car, and you can afford a much nicer car than I can. So well done, Mike Roger. You just went to the wrong customer.
That was $100 cheaper.
The thing that Ted just said, it's true. Plastic instead of steel. Think of that. And people died because of that. The plastic was plastic.
You got to give a shot to. We got to give another shot to Biden, y'all. We got to give another shot to Biden. Then I want to show y'all the video, and then I got another video to show you goofies.
In an auto accident, then it broke up, and people were shattered because of that crazy deal. But it's a really good point. Go ahead.
And Mr. President, I'll tell you, the Senate Commerce Committee on January 14th, we're going to have a hearing with all of the big three there and Tesla. And the entire hearing is going to focus on how your leadership has reduced the burdens on car makers. That's lowering costs. That's
how your leadership, nothing about helping the everyday average American, nothing. Your leadership. We're going to have a meeting about your leadership. Really? Wasn't Tesla? Wasn't that the dude who told everybody that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files? Ain't he the one who told that he was in the Epstein file? Yeah, what a joke, this dude right here. Jesus.
giving consumers more choices, and it's producing more jobs in America. And it's highlighted. That's a real record of success.
Yeah, well, it's an honor. And, you know, they were going by California. We had like 2 different countries.
As soon as you tell your mother to comb her hair, Jeff, I'll learn how to do this. Ass out. You ass out. You zombies.
Countries, California, and 15 that followed California, because you had 15 states follow California. And the rules from California were just like everything else. That's why people are leaving. That's why it's such a mess. It's got there's a state with such unbelievable potential. But what they did with the car industry is incredible. And that was, you know, the car companies didn't know what to do because they had 2 standards and you can't build 2 different cars.
Sure, they did. First, I want all of you to go over there and do just that. Please report it for hate speech. And see, I'm going to still be here tomorrow because there's no hate speech. You're just dumb, first name, for hate speech. Just do that.
Ours for the same country. And what we're doing today is very big. Would anybody like to say something? Would you like to say something, my friend?
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And we love you, Brian.
Oh, I love you too, Mr. President. I've always said
he's a good man.
Well, I appreciate that. I've always said you've tackled the three M's: mortgage, munchkins, and marriage. You've solidified all of those. I'll add motor vehicles to that now. My question, I got one about consumer confidence. We just came off on the record high Black Friday of 9.1%.
Highest ever, biggest amount ever purchased in one day. Yeah.
Which I think counters this narrative of affordability, because apparently the Americans are spending money. So I want to see, how do you view that for a consumer confidence being so high going into Christmas and going into next year? And I do have one for the auto group after you.
Because it was cheap and stuff was cheaper, and they tried to make it cheaper enough for people to buy. That's why. Not because of anything you did.
We have tremendous confidence in the country. You know, one of the things in terms of
sure, they're going to listen to everything as soon as they figure out I haven't said Haiti, white speech, Haiti, then you're going to look like a goofy. You're going to look like a goofy because you think you're the first person that would report me as doing hate speech when I know I haven't done hate speech. Goofies. So keep doing all of that. You haven't heard me say anything that was racist, goofy. Just because I mentioned white or black doesn't mean I'm racist, goofy, right?
Confidence.
Learn the difference.
You go back a year and a half.
You ain't heard me, Jack. You ain't heard me, Jack.
You know, it's amazing. We're like into 10 months already, but you go back a little bit before the election, because after November 5th, it started changing rapidly, even though we weren't running it until January.
That's the problem, Chris. That's the problem right there. You cannot have people who are loyal to you and not loyal to the Constitution. That's the problem. When you have people who are loyal to you, you want people to tell you when you're doing something wrong. This Trump doesn't want people to tell him when he's doing wrong. That's the problem. You're supposed to have people who will tell you how to fix things and be objective. This president doesn't want that. He wants people to tell him that he smells good. You're so nice. You're so beautiful. You're so smart. You notice that when he gets into a room full of people, that's the first thing they start doing is, oh, you're so nice. You're so smart. You're so X, Y, and Z. That's the problem. No pushback whatsoever by Republicans. None whatsoever.
But when you
That's why you stand for nothing. That's why the country is saying that you stand for nothing. Republicans stand for nothing. That's why what we're saying.
look back and you
No, I'm not at all, Jeff. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
look at the enlistment of soldiers, people that wanted to join the military, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Coast Guard is like booming. It's all Space Force.
Everything is amazing. Everything is amazing under this president. Yet and still, he has an approval rating of 37. Everything is amazing with this president, except he has an approval rating of 37%. Why is it that he has an approval rating of 37%? If everything is going amazing, it's amazing. Prices are down, everything is down, everything. Why is it that he has an approval rating of 37%? I wonder why. Wow. The approval rating, no. It's overall 38%. Not Democrats. It's overall 38%, which means Hispanics, blacks, independents, and half you white folks can't stand him. That figure, that 38 or 37 figure is all of us besides you 27%. That goofy percentage of Republicans has not Democrat. We don't care. We don't care. We got the shittiest numbers ever. Shittiest numbers ever. Us Democrats got the shittiest numbers ever. But yet and still, we're beating you Republicans in races that we're having. We're overperforming in the races that we're having against you Republicans. The worst president ever. Okay? The worst president ever.
But we had the worst recruitment in the history of our country. A year later, we have the greatest recruitment in the history. You can't even get in. Getting in is like getting into a top college that you couldn't get in. People want to be in the service now, and that includes the police and firemen, other things. You couldn't hire police. You couldn't hire anybody in the Army or the Navy. You couldn't get people in. And we now have gone from that to record recruitment. We're getting high quality people, amazing people.
Why is it that they have to trash all of your people away? Why they can't find somebody to work for this government? Because most of the people are they're not. Oh God. It's crazy. This is crazy. The gaslight is real. He gonna say it 3, 4, 5 times. When somebody continues to tell you that everything is great and you believe it, you continue to believe it, even against all odds, you continue to believe it, that means you're in a cult. That's all. It means you're in a cult. It is what it is.
To be in the military.
I ain't received no Dole check. I'm waiting for the Dole check. I'm waiting for the $2,000 check. I'm waiting for all that. Let's see if we get it, y'all. Let's see if we get it.
Yeah, call it what you want, but that's part of it. But they have great spirit now. It's a great thing. Go ahead, ask your second question.
Okay, my second question, I've got a lot of close family friends that are in the automotive business, own dealerships all across Southern California. They sent me a question to ask you. There's a thing called a mileage blocker that is installed on vehicles. It's a type of a computer chip which alters the actual mileage driven on the vehicle, so that when you have a leased vehicle that's turned in, they're losing thousands of dollars. They've got to go chase down these manufacturers. What can we do to track down these manufacturers of this illegal computer chip that's really hurting automotive industry?
Have you heard about this?
Yes, sir. They're getting built in China, and most of them are coming out of Great Britain, sir. They're being distributed through China, through distributors selling them online through Great Britain. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's not so good. What do you think?
Look at that.
Yeah. Bernie, do you know anything about that?
It works on older vehicles, and obviously, well, we got to do a better job.
Yeah,
of
I
being
think
sure
it's
to border.
something, I've never heard of it. Very good. We never heard of it. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what
I
happened?
don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem. You know, we stopped, every boat we knocked out, we saved 25,000 American lives.
So
And if you look at our,
he going with the script, y'all. He going with the script. He don't want to answer the question, so he going with the script, y'all.
numbers, the drugs coming in through sea are down 91%.
91%. Y'all know, everybody know this is about the bullshit. Everybody knows that this president just covering up, calling it a drug deal because he wants the oil from Venezuela. Everybody knows that. So why is your president talking about, oh, drugs are down 90%? You don't give a fuck about them drugs. You care about the oil. So stop lying to the American people. Don't lying to the American people. Just, and most of y'all gonna believe it.
I'm surprised there's 9%. You want to? I don't know who's doing the 9%, but it's down 91, and we're going to start very soon on land, and I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were there last night with Vladimir Putin. Can you give us an update about those talks? It sounds from what the Kremlin is saying that they're not going to compromise. Can you tell us what you've?
I don't know what the Kremlin's doing. I can tell you that they had a reasonably good meeting with President Putin. We're going to find out. It's a war that should have never been started. It's a war. If I were president, we had a rigged election. If I were president, that war would have never happened.
On, Fletch?
It's a terrible thing. Fletch. But I thought they had a very good meeting.
I don't know what's going on, Jay Fletch. I was wondering myself, damn. Just, I mean, this man, I thought some of you people was trolls. I thought someone was troll. You actually got people in here believing what this president has been saying, believing this stuff. They throwing me off, bro. Jesus.
Meeting yesterday with President Putin. We'll see what happens. It's, when I was in this office and I talked about no cards, I said, you have no cards. That was the time to settle. I thought that would have been a much better time to settle. But they, in their wisdom, decided not to do that. They have a lot of things against them right now. But you have President Putin had a very good meeting yesterday with Jared Kushner and with Steve Witkoff. What comes out of that meeting, I can't tell you, because it does take two to tango. You know, Ukraine.
No, they didn't, Mr. Howe. They just replaced the Republican who quit. That's all they did. They replaced the Republican who quit. They didn't gain no more seats. Stop it.
I think we have something pretty well worked out with them. They're very satisfied, considering. But the sad part is, if I were president, no war would have ever happened. They would have had 100% of their territory. Nothing would have happened. It's a very sad situation. So think of this. Last month, 27,000 soldiers. 27. That's
What big fat lie is he about to tell now, y'all? What big fat lie is he about to tell?
Like, you take a stadium, a football stadium, not an arena, and you cut it in half. 27,000 people died, mostly young soldiers, died last month, in 1 month. And that's the only reason I'm involved. You know, we're not spending any money in the war. We're selling to NATO. We're not being ripped off like we were under Biden. Biden was handing everybody everything we had, giving them all the missiles, everything they wanted, free, no charge. So he had no idea what he was doing. They're paying top dollar, full price for everything. Goes to NATO, and then NATO distributes it. NATO pays us. So it's not money. We would all, I think I can speak for everyone behind here. The politicians I know and the auto manufacturers are good people. They don't want to see 27,000 people die for no reason whatsoever. And that's the only reason I'm trying to help. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, switching to Venezuela for a second. Have you checked back with President Maduro? I mean, is your pressure campaign working? And do you think how's he responding to your demand that he leave the country?
It's not pressure.
I think the same thing, Chris Atkinson. When they say Trump 2028, you're unserious. And we can't take you, and you need to have yourself checked. they're unserious about anything.
Campaign is much beyond that, I think. But I spoke to him briefly, just told him a couple of things. We'll see what happens with that. Venezuela sends us drugs, but Venezuela sends us people that they shouldn't be sending. They emptied their prisons into our country. They sent us killers, murderers. They sent.
Whoa. Y'all actually believe that they still sending their killers? And if they sent that many killers, drug dealers, and X, Y, and Z, we would be seeing more evidence on the street. Now, I know y'all don't believe this shit. Y'all believe in this goofy shit that he's saying. He don't care about those drugs, whether they reach the United States or not. He just pardoned a drug dealer. He just pardoned a drug dealer who was sending drugs to the United States. That's why we know he don't. That's why we know he don't care one way or the other. It's because he just pardoned a drug dealer. Y'all just so goofy. Just don't even know. Just be defending this president and the president's doing all this wacky shit. Just he bitching. He on TV talking about drugs. He don't care about them drugs. He don't care about who sells the drug. He don't care nothing about it.
Us drug dealers at the highest level. They sent us gang members. They sent us people from their mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions into our country. And so did other countries, because we had.
He was the president of he was a dictator of a country. John Woods, goofy. Look it up. Look up the drug dealer that President Trump just pardoned. Look it up. He was the president of a country, or a dictator of a country just now. Just crazy. Honduran president, yeah. Asking me what president, when did that happen? It just happened. What you mean? He don't care about no drugs. He talking about, oh, they sent me they doing drugs. They sending drugs here. We got to kill. No, he don't care about them drugs. He just got goofies like you believing he care about them drugs.
Stupid people running this country, really stupid people. And I think probably you had some stupid ones and you had some smart ones, but they were bad people too. Because not all of them were stupid. You can't cheat on elections like they did and be stupid. Okay.
Did you talk to him a second time or just that?
He don't give a damn about you, John Woods. He don't give a damn about you and nobody else that make under millions of dollars. He don't give a damn about none of us.
One time.
What's that?
To Maduro. You speak to him again.
That shit is wild. This shit is wild that he actually still got supporters. He still got supporters even after he pardoned a drug dealer. He on TV talking about, I don't like drug dealers. They got to get out of my country. And yet he pardoned drug dealers. Make it make sense.
No, I didn't.
Mr. President, if you do find.
When you spoke with Mr. Witkoff and with Mr. Kushner
last night,
did they give you the sense that President Putin still wants to end the war, wants to make peace?
He would like to end the war. That was their impression. Now, whether or not, that was their impression. Their impression was that he would like to see the war ended. I think he'd like to get back to dealing a more normal life. I think he'd like to be trading with the United States of America, frankly, instead of, losing thousands of soldiers a week. But their impression was very strongly that they'd like to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
Mr. President, the boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not
300,000 people. Y'all listen to the numbers. Listen the way he lied. What is he talking about? 300,000 people died because of fentanyl. Is that true? 300,000 people have died because of fentanyl? He just said 300,000. Wow.
I'm mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed, I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the
No, I
initial
support
strike?
the decision to knock out the boats, and whoever is piloting those boats, most of them are gone, but whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country. Yeah, please.
The House Judiciary Committee has.
Yeah, somebody, I heard, I need somebody to put in the chat what law says because you're a drug dealer that you deserve to get murked. Somebody put that in the chat. What just because you're a drug dealer, you're supposed to get murked. That we start murking people who are drug dealers. Somebody put that in the chat. I want to know because I need to know the law. Because people keep saying he was within his rights. Yeah, I need to know the law. What law says because you sell drugs that you deserve to get murked? I just want to know. Somebody put it in the chat, please. Because I ain't never heard of no law like that. Jason V. Clark, you're unserious.
Subpoenaed Jack Smith to ask about his investigation of you. I wondered.
Yeah, 48,000 last year. You mean overall 300K? But you don't mean 300K. You mean 300K over a 10-year period? Not a 300K over a year period. A 300K over a 10-year period? Where the hell he get that 300K from?
For a deposition. I wondered if you'd prefer to see that as a hearing so that the American.
He didn't say 5 years, Goofy. He didn't say 5 years, Goofy Tom, the garbage man, Goofy.
American public can see the questions and the responses more easily.
I'd rather see it probably at a hearing. Look, Jack Smith is a thug. He's a failed prosecutor.
I can't wait till Jack Smith testifies. I will be right there. Because Jack Smith finna blow this president and everything else out of the water. You see how he trying to discredit Jack Smith. You can't discredit Jack Smith. Jack Smith is the one who know everything about President Trump, who tried to overturn the election, everything about the January 6th. He knows everything. He finna cook Trump's ass.
He's a bad man. He's an evil man. He hurt a lot of people. Forget about it.
I can't wait. He cooked your ass and he gonna cook your ass. He said I can't wait to testify in front of the American people. I can't wait.
I do this stuff, but I got indicted many times.
Oh no, don't worry about the pedophile. Don't worry about the pedophile. Fear that the Republican, the maggots don't care about men sleeping with young girls. They don't care about that. They love men sleeping with young girls. They support men that sleep with young girls. Don't worry about that. You shouldn't even mention that. They love when older men sleep with young girls. They love it.
By a guy that they were dismissed. He's a bad guy. He's a sick man. There's something wrong with him, actually.
Yeah, there's something wrong with him. You see him trying to discredit Jack Smith. I can't wait. Jack Smith said he cannot wait to testify. He wants to testify. They tried to get Jack Smith not to testify in a private hearing, right? They tried to get him not to testify in public. Jack Smith said, I'm only going to testify in public so the American people can hear what a degenerate president we got. He said, I'm not testifying behind closed doors. That's what Jack Smith said. For you goofies who don't know who Jack Smith is the prosecutor who prosecuted Donald Trump for January 6th, who prosecuted Donald Trump for crimes of insurrection. He's the one who prosecuted the president for that. And he won the case. And He won the case. Goofy goofies. And he won the case. Goofy goofies. The case was set aside because he won the presidency. Goofy goofies. He won. He proved the case. They tried to get Jack Smith. Jack Smith said, I'm not testifying in a closed hearing. I'm testifying in front of the American people. He didn't lose anything, haha, bitch. He won. The president just won the presidency, and he had to throw the conviction to the side because the president won the presidency. I can't wait till Jack Smith testifies so he can show the American people and the world the corrupt president that we have, corrupt, illegal president that we have.
I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions. But Biden,
he can answer the questions perfectly. He has all the answers. He's the prosecutor.
Knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And
here we go. We finna try some bullshit. We finna try the trial right in the middle of a conference. Shut your ass up. Let's go.
There's a lot of.
Oh, Jack Smith got plenty of shit. He said, I'm going to testify in front of the American. Go look it up. Go look it up, goofy goofies. Jack Smith, they try to make Jack Smith testify in a closed hearing. And he said, I'm not testifying in no closed hearing. I'm testifying in front of the American people because we're going to find out exactly what corrupt loser president is like. And I want everybody to hear me say it when I present the evidence, which is what Jack Smith is going to do. That's Smith. He had Donald Trump dead to rights. He had Donald Trump dead to rights. But because Donald Trump won the presidency, he had to throw the convictions to the side. That's wild. That's wild.
Things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception of the pardon of his wonderful son, Hunter, just about everything he signed was not signed by him. He had no knowledge of it. He didn't know what it was. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly what it was. And those people are guilty, in my opinion, of a major crime. Everything.
Because he knows he can't do anything but testify in public. Donald Trump don't want him to testify in public. Y'all need to go look up his case. We're not gonna argue Jack Smith. We already know what happened. It's on record. We don't need to argue about what Jack Smith did, okay? Go look it up.
It was signed by that auto pen. The man operating the auto pen, and I'm sure there are more than one because I think some of the people can operate it themselves. Some of the high-level people operate it themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an auto pen.
Oh, so he's accusing the Biden administration of a crime. Wow. He's accusing the Biden administration of a crime. I cannot wait till 2026. It's 2026. Yeah, can't wait till 2026 when we can neuter this president. We can neuter him. Neuter him.
Very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe cafe standards, okay, as an example. Who signed cafe? You
see? Hey, his lips moving, he lying. When his lips are moving, he's lying every time.
You ask Biden, what's a cafe standard? He would have absolutely no idea. He'd say, where is the cafe located? The guy didn't know anything. Look, that just shows you what a rigged election can be. But you understand what I'm saying. Thank you.
You've had conversations.
I did with Jensen.
Right. So
smart man.
In your conversations with him, have you kind of given a sense of where you are with export controls and the types of chips that being able to get to China?
He knows very well. He's done an amazing job. NVIDIA, very good. Yeah.
Mr. President, when do you expect for phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan to be implemented? And
Well, it's going along well. You know, they had a problem today, I understand, with a bomb that went off. Hurt some people pretty badly, probably killed some people. They're telling me it just happened. But it's going on. We have peace in the Middle East. People don't realize it. We have tremendous support. 59 countries. There's tremendous support. But phase 2 is moving along. Yeah, it's going to happen pretty soon.
Mr. President, did you speak with House Republican leadership about your decision to pardon Congressman Henry Cuellar? And are you concerned that you made a vulnerable Democrat perhaps less vulnerable with that decision?
It didn't matter. He's a respected person. He was treated very badly because he said that people should not be allowed to pour into our country. And he was right. He didn't like open borders. He was on the border. You know, he represents a very respected man. He represents the people on.
No. We ain't finna put that out there. You ain't finna lie about Biden selling pardons. Your president sells pardons. Your president, Kenneth Kisser, your president is the only president that has sold pardons. Your president has. No other president has sold pardons. Your president needs to be impeached because of that and that alone. Okay? Your president has sold pardons. Yours. Nobody else's but yours. Don't put that out there. Biden ain't never heard a hint of Biden selling pardons.
The border.
Oh,
and he saw what was happening. And as soon as he made that statement, I then said, I'll bet he gets indicted. And that's what happened. You know, I put out my truth from that. Well, I did a truth, wonderful truth. We love truth. But what happened is he got indicted for speaking the truth. And his wife got indicted, Imelda. And that's sort of a first. Usually they leave the wives alone, right? Don't they, Congressman? Typically they indict somebody, put him in jail for the rest of his life, but the wife can just sit home and cry, or she'll find a new man. You know? A lot of times they find a new man that makes them much happier. In fact, a lot of times they like that man better than the one that's in jail.
Mr. President, thank you. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police chief.
Well, then he's a fool.
Well, his police chief is also
I
saying
wouldn't be
they
proud
might.
to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is.
Whoa.
It's not even a nation.
Did he just say he wouldn't be proud to have the largest Samoan community? What is he saying about Samoans? Somalians?
It's just people walking around killing each other. Look, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. That's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, you know, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Waltz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state, it's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here.
Wait a minute. I don't recall hearing nothing about Minnesota. What is this president talking about? What exactly is he talking about? That's wild. That's wild.
Destroyed our country. And all they do is complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with. Go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution.
Some of y'all really need to grow up. Some of y'all really do need to grow up. I swear. You really do.
All she does is complain about this country. And without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon. I hope. But what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is not even believable.
I never said I didn't know what he's talking about, goofy. I never said I didn't know what he's talking about. I said the lies he's telling, I don't know anything about, goofy.
It's not even believable. And a lot of it starts.
Swear to God, 90% of them, goofy. Ain't these the people he was accusing of eating cats and dogs or some shit like that?
With the governor.
Oh,
a lot of it starts with Barack Hussein Obama, because that's when people started coming in. And you have to have people come in that are going to love our country, cherish our country. They want to kiss our country goodnight. They talk about our country. We want them to pray for our country. This is not the people living in Minnesota. And she's a disaster. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople. Okay.
This is wild. He's talking about a sitting congresswoman. This is wild right here. He talking crazy. This is America's president. This is our president. Goddamn, this is our president. Wow.
They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country. Anybody else?
The automakers spent billions on meeting the Biden EV rules. Should they be able to recoup that somehow, given the change? And there's a question about
doing it. No. I'm not letting them recoup. They're going to do just fine. You know how they recoup? From this point forward, they'll do very well.
Can you also talk about the USMCA and what you're thinking about renegotiating that with the automakers?
No, that's just an ongoing thing.
They said you should have been alive. Wait a minute. Somebody got arrested for eating a cat? What?
It expires in about a year, and we'll either let it expire.
That's the whole point. Golf Twitter. That's the whole point right there. Right there.
Or we'll maybe work out another deal with Mexico and Canada. But look, Mexico and Canada have taken advantage of the United States. Like
new law, Richard Dugan's new law. Please, if you got 34 felons, you can't run for president again. We need to make a law. We should have made that law. Man.
Just about every other country, in all fairness, it's not them. I'm not blaming them. But every country, because we had stupid people running our country. We had a lot of stupid people running.
Damn, then we gonna have 8 damn years of stupid people running our country. Then, if we had stupid people running our country the last 4, we really gonna have some stupid people running our country for the next 4. We really gonna have stupid people running our country. How do you? This is what I want to know. How do you let the world know your war plans on a tweet? How do you let the world know that you're doing on a tweet, y'all? On a tweet.
That's why we have $38 trillion in debt. But the beautiful thing about the tariffs is we'll start paying off that debt. The money coming in, they're finding money in our country now that they never knew existed.
I know he's a felon, idiot, goofy, Andy May, goofy. They only overturned 3 of them. That still means he's a 31 count felon, goofy.
The other day, $30 billion. Where did it come from? I said, why don't you check the tariff show? They said, sir, that tariff hasn't started yet.
Because I don't want to call you nothing else. Goofy doesn't get me in trouble. So I can call you goofy all I want. That won't get me in trouble. So I use goofy liberally for you MAGAs because you're goofy.
That doesn't start till January. I said, no, it started 2 months ago. They call back, sir, you're right. It was from tariff.
You see how they lie, a golf Twitter? You see how they be lying?
No, we have a whole different country. I hope the Supreme Court, I pray that the Supreme Court understands the importance of the sensible, really, I mean, this would be...
No, Gary, you need to hear yourself. You sound like a zombie. You really need to hear yourself.
Country threatening if something happened with regard to that. You know, the people that brought that case are bad people. They're very bad people. They hate our country.
Oh, shit.
They represent foreign countries.
Oh, shit. Here go the greatest hits again. Oh, shit.
Including China. But they represent, and China's paying us a lot of money now in tariffs. but they represent people that really don't like our country much. And I know some of them, and they're scum. In my opinion, they're scum. They're absolute scum. And they're not suing for any good reason. They're just suing to see if they can stop it, because they make money if this country does badly. So, but we're taking in trillions of dollars. We're stopping wars. We have great national security because of tariffs.
Come on, see, y'all see why we keep going on with these press conferences, because that's all he's doing is spewing his greatest hits. This is wild right here. This is why. This is a president spinning down. This is a president that's winding down. We in the dark days. We in the last days. We might as well just go on, listen to it, because it ain't never gonna be like this ever again. Never gonna be like this ever again. We never gonna have this type of president. We never gonna have this dumb of an electric. We might as well listen.
And then to think that we have to even go and justify this. The reason a lot of these people, I can tell you this, maybe we would have had the political people. We wouldn't have these people without tariffs. The people that are up here from Stellantis and Ford and General Motors, great companies, including this gentleman, right? They wouldn't be here today if we didn't have tariffs. They'd be building their plants in Mexico and other places. They're leaving Mexico and they're leaving Canada. They're leaving because they ripped off our country. They took our businesses away from us. And now because of tariffs, they're all coming back. So it's a great thing. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, you call Somalians garbage.
Thank you guys. Keep moving.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's the wild part right there. The president is always doing something wild, always saying something wild. Wait a minute, let me finish this lady, y'all. It's always a wild ride.
Said he's like a punk. He's like some. Now let's go back quickly to what I was just saying about Trump not caring about what the voters want, because I think you can see this dramatically in a lot of ways. I mean, Carolyn Levitt, the way she talks to people, Trump's inability to control himself when he calls a reporter piggy, for example, but also Heggs.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I forgot. I was supposed to show y'all that old boy with the Turning Point USA, and he got turned away because they didn't want him for it. They don't want no other people there. Here we go. Listen.
Is God, and there's no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
Familiar with the Ten Commandments? You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself a Christian. I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America. What's your faith? I'm a Christian. Follower of Jesus. Great. Do you believe in the Holy Trinity? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? I think a lot of people here do. So good. And that doesn't make you a polytheist, does it? Probably not, no. Great. And so in my faith, I believe there's one true God. He resides in all of us, and he appears in different forms, but it's one true God. So I'm an ethical monotheist. That's the way I would describe my faith. Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president? No, I think it's... No, well... Be honest. Isn't Hinduism...
Because you're an Indian.
I can ask yourself that Hinduism believes in Shiva and what is it? The flute. God, I forget. Right, Krishna, who's you're thinking of? Yeah, Krishna. But isn't Charlie Kirk's organization founded on Christian values as well? And isn't the United States of America also, based on what Protestantism is, based on how those values are? Wouldn't that contradict what your beliefs are? Like I said, I'm not here to justify my faith to you any more than you are to me. But what I do share is the value set this country was founded on. And I think that it's really important that we not reinvent the founding of this country.
We got to hear that first part again. Listen to that first
Jesus
part.
Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If
you don't think that's racist and they ran his ass up out of there, then you don't know what racism is. I believe y'all don't even know what racism is. This is his experience right here. They don't want people in your Republican Party don't want people of color in their party. They don't want people of color in their party. They make it very clear that they don't want people of other colors in their party. What did they say? Say it again, boy. Say it again. Say it again, young man.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want.
No, you all keep telling me it's not about race. It's about culture. It ain't about culture. It's about race. That's what it is. If they tell you that you're an Indian, I wouldn't vote for you because you're an Indian. That's racist. That's racist. If you say, I'm not going to vote for you because you're an Indian, that means you're racist. Okay? That is what he's told. Because he's Indian, they won't vote for him. That's wild. That's wild. No, there's plenty of instances like that. You Republicans just don't want black people in their party, or Indian people, or in gays, or trans, or any of the above. You just don't want none of them in your party. It just is what it is. It is what it is. It just is what it is.
That made up children's book, in which he appeared to make fun of open murder by the American people, because those people represent us, showed such a profound disrespect, not only for the murdered people and the country from which they came, but for us. But for those of us who say, we care about the laws of war. We care about laws. We care about the rule of law. And we're concerned that you stepped over it. Tom Nichols of The Atlantic, who's a scholar of the military and the national security, said he's like a punk. He's like some punk who got caught doing something wrong, and he's challenging the fuzz, that's an old-fashioned expression for the cops, to take him in because his daddy is, do you know who my daddy is? And that's kind of the feeling that you get from what the administration is doing. And that brings up another question. How long will the elected Republicans put up with that? Because the clear goal from the beginning of the Trump administration has been essentially to rig the 2026 and 2028 elections so Trump could never lose. He was pretty clear about that. Not Trump in 28. He's never going to make it that far. But that was pretty clearly what he was up to. It's not at all clear at this point that that's going to work, because the realignment that people like me see is one that is not simply the old Democrats, Republicans dichotomy, but it is a general realignment of the American people against this Epstein class. And that cuts absolutely across parties. This is how you get Marjorie Taylor Greene announcing she's going to resign right after she gets her pension and writing a screed that sort of says, I'm here for the American people. And a lot of people say, you can't trust her. Of course you can't trust her. But it's always important to watch how these people talk, because they are trying to model and reflect back what they're hearing from their constituents. So you're seeing it from Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're certainly seeing it from independents. And you are also seeing it from Democrats who are talking not only about not only about accountability, not only about affordability, but also pretty dramatically about reclaiming American democracy from this small elite that is trying to take everything. So if you are, a number of the comments that I always gather, where is there any hope? How can we hope for anything here? And the answer to that is stop thinking about individual crises. I mean, still participate in those. We need to protect our Somali neighbors. We need, what the things that ICE is doing are unconscionable. All of those things are still there and must be combated. The bigger picture, though, certainly seems to be an executive branch that is increasingly just essentially saying F you to the American people.
Right.
And the question of how elected Republicans and other people in the country will respond to that. And if you're an elected Republican, what does that look like? Trump is falling apart. Watch him.
Right.
He is falling apart. He's under enormous stress. He can't stay awake in his own televised cabinet meeting.
Right.
He's got incompetent people around him who are committing war crimes.
Right.
And those Epstein files are, I believe, we're at 19 days toward the deadline of when those things have to come out. And a lot of people are like, well, they're not going to turn them all out. No, I feel certain they're going to do their best to hide them and to do, to redact them and do all kinds of stuff. But I keep saying to you, think of how many people have seen them and who can say, wait a minute here, I saw that document and what's missing from it is X. And a lot of them are not going to be willing to continue to cover up for people who are doing things like committing war crimes. So where you should get...
Everybody's willing to let it go. Nobody wants to expose the pedophiles. Nobody wants to expose Trump. This is the problem. And nobody wants to expose Trump. Everybody wants to be nice to Trump so that Trump won't be X, Y, and Z. Let's let it go. We just gonna let all of the pedos go. We ain't gonna try to get none of them. We Democrats don't care about no Democrats being pedophiles. We want all of the files released, whether they pedophiles or Democrats or not. We want all of them released. It's these MAGA people who keep saying we don't want to release. We need to forget about those Epstein files. If we forget about those Epstein files, he's gonna get away with it. He's gonna get away with it, and you guys want him to get away with it.
Hope is the fact that we are watching this administration really sort of collapse in real time. I mean, it's a lot coming at us all the time, but it's in many ways fascinating. A lot of these storylines are sort of coming to a crashing end. But now that being said, it's going to get really ugly. It's going to get really ugly before it gets better. So, all of those sayings about, narcissists ending up in madness and, the dying mule kicks hardest and a cornered rat bites and all that sort of thing. That's what we're going into in December, January, February. We're going into this crash between the executive branch, members of Congress, if they stand up to it, and the American people. So I'm not saying it's time to pop your champagne. I'm saying it is, the larger picture is not of an administration that is consolidating power. It is an administration that is crashing in on itself. And you see this in the Trump's popularity numbers, which are in the mid 30s. And people say that's still too many people. Remember that you're always, always, always going to have a reactionary movement is always going to have at least 22% to 25% of the people behind it for various.
That's the MAGAs. That's the MAGAs, that 20, 25% is going to stand behind him regardless. He's a crook, he's a criminal, and he's corrupt. And the people in his administration are the same way. They're doing the money grab. They're doing all this crazy stuff in front of us, and then they're grabbing the money from behind. This president has enriched himself more than any other president since he's gotten into office. And he loves it. Just funnel all the money to my family. Funnel it all. He's going to be remembered all right. He's going to be remembered as one of the worst presidents that went down in history. Just one of the worst presidents. It just is what it is.
Reasons. But if your floor is 22% and he's at 35, he's not doing real well. And you've got the problem, the crisis of the economy. You've got the crisis of the appointees. You've got the crisis of Trump's own mental acuity. You've got all these things sort of crumbling at the same time or smashing together at the same time. Imagine what it would look like if you had a mentally competent, quite skilled politician doing what, consolidating the kind of power that Trump is doing. It'd be a very different story altogether. So that's out there in this moment as well. Let me see, did I get everything here? Yeah, I think I got everything that you were interested in, at least that I could do in this amount of time. So what would I tell you to watch now? If I were telling you what are the things to watch, I'm watching Trump's brain. First of all, that's the first thing. And second of all, watch what especially the Republicans in the Senate do. That's where the real pressure is starting to ramp up, but there should be a lot more of it. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in that Tennessee special election. Now, a lot of you have asked me to predict what's going to happen going forward. I don't know. We've never been in a moment like this in American history before. But I will tell you this. Now is the time to keep the pressure up. And for the next several months, by the way, when it is time to breathe, I will tell you when it is time to breathe. But right now, the more involved you are at the local level, at the state level, in protests, and those protests are economic as well as political,
Right.
is supporting your neighbors.
Well, we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep up all the pressure. We're going to do the No Kings rallies. We're going to do all of these things because this president, A, doesn't deserve to have the position that he has. B, the people that he has working for them are terrible, terrible representatives of American people. And we need to do what we need to do, right? So hopefully it's enough. It won't be any kind of impeachment. It won't be any kind of 25 amendment. But it will be a series of investigations come 2026. And all of these people that work for him, we're going to see that they are held accountable, like jail time held accountable.
All the things that people are talking about doing out there, spreading the word. What needs to happen is more Americans need to understand what is happening and why it matters. And also articulating what we want going forward, because we are not going back to January 19th, 2021. We're just not. But if we're not going to do that, let's make it better. Like, what are the issues that matter to you? I mean, I care about universal health care, but mostly I care about education and journalism. That's where my muscle is going to really go, is into trying to reshape American education. Figure out what your lane is and start getting involved with people who do that. That doesn't mean we have to have all the answers, But it does mean that when we hit the ground running, we want to be able to articulate what we want. And crucially, we want to have people in office who will be able to translate those desires into actual legislation and funding, that's actually quite hard as well. And we haven't talked a lot about that in this channel, but I will, because articulating what you want is really important. But then electing the people who can pull the right strings is key to making those ideas actually become reality. And those are not the same skill sets. We need both of those sets of people. The people who can best articulate what we want are almost never those people who can figure out how to create coalitions that make them happen. And people often make that mistake of thinking that somebody who articulates a vision very well is going to be able to make it happen. It's just a different skill set, and they can't do it. And similarly, sometimes you want those invisible workhorses because they know which buttons to push to get enough people on board to make something happen. So going forward now, keep up the pressure and don't get discouraged. What is happening is horrific. Don't forget that ever, because that's really important that we keep that naivete, if you will, to care deeply about our humanity and our laws. But while keeping that in mind, it's important to remember that the larger picture is one in which this administration is under enormous stress, and the momentum is on the side of those people pushing back against it. And the more voices we have in this, in whatever way you are comfortable speaking up, the better chance we have of both getting rid of those oligarchs who are trying to destroy the United States, but also of building something on the other side that more adequately addresses the larger needs of the American people, which is, after all, the point of a democracy. So I actually kind of took the day off today, because for once it felt like I wasn't the only one who was keeping tabs on this administration and really pushing hard. Now it turns out I do have something to say, but now is not the time to despair. To the contrary, this is the time really to bear down and recognize that time and the ravages of age and of stupidity are on the side of American democracy right now. They're really helping us out. Trump's not going to get better. These guys are not going to suddenly become more competent at their jobs. The economy is not suddenly going to miraculously recover. And we are increasingly getting our muscle behind us. So on that note, I'm going to go back and hit the road. But I do want to point out that interestingly enough, I've been doing a ton of interviews lately. And they're great fun because I get to ask elected people mostly the things that I care about, and I have sort of long form, and I don't care about gotcha stuff at all. So I really want to know what they think. And as a result of that, I have a number of important interviews coming up over the course of this week and next. On Thursday, I'm doing an interview with Senator Warner. Mark Warner, who's on the Intelligence Committee and has been for a long time. But I'm especially excited about tomorrow at noon. I am interviewing Zoran Mamdani of New York City. And I'm really excited about that. We will talk about his articulated principles of democracy and how he is hoping to transition them into legislation. So if you're free tomorrow at noon, and if you're not, tune in, but if you're not, we will obviously post it later. And Senator Warner on Thursday, and then later on, Senator Warner is at 11:15 on Thursday, and then at 12:30, I'm doing a live with Mark Elias. And I think that may not be it for the day. I think I'm also
yeah, well, she's much smarter than what's going on with the Republican Party right now. All the lies, all the this, that, and the third. We cannot trust this. We cannot trust this administration. Okay. He's still going to be my president, but he's still a shitty ass president. Nobody said anything about him not being the president, but he still is a shitty ass president. But it is what it is. We got to deal with him. We got to live with him. But it seems like the car is going off the rails. It is what it is. You guys make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe. We will be back more with content later on. This was for the Trump's. Geez, it took all this time just to get over that doggone meeting, the presser. 1 hour. That's all it is, out of the ordinary. And he comes and says all this garbage. But it is what it is. We will be back later with more content. Of course, anything happens, we will be back. I love all of you. Well, I love all of you. Please and thank you.